Hey everybody, how y'all doing? I'm Michael. I'm joined by Alex as always,
How's it going?
and we're here with a very special episode of Fallen Through Plotholes, a podcast about video game plot lines and how they have a tendency to go off the rails. Although we're not talking about plot lines today, and we're going to be talking something a little bit more historical. In order to help us out with that, we have a special guest, Matt, aka Cartridge Blowers. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, hello. I'm here this time, and we're not talking about plots.
We're not talking about plots. No, we're talking about something historical, but it's something that's, that I absolutely love and love to argue about.
Okay, I like arguing. That's fine. I'm here for it.
Yeah, arguing is really, really great. And we're going to be arguing with basically the ghost of the past in many ways.
Those are my favorite.
Yeah, I know, right?
I
My
do those in the
favorite
mirror
argument.
all the time.
hmm
Indeed. Indeed. I do that all the time, late at night. Because my place is haunted. It's great. Built on a Native American burial ground, probably.
Most likely, statistically speaking.
Yeah, very,
Yeah.
very likely, I would say. Now, in order to help explain exactly what we're going to be talking about, Alex, I need you to do something for me.
Okay.
And I'm just going to pull this up real quick. Great. All right. Alex, you have 1 minute to tell me your top 100 games of all time. Go.
Half-Life 2, Mass Effect, Zone of the Enders 2, Ace Combat 4,
Yeah, 50 seconds left.
Halo, Halo 2, Burnout 3,
40 seconds.
X-Wing versus TIE Fighter, MechWarrior 2, Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario World, Sonic the
30 seconds
Hedgehog
left.
3, Final Fantasy 9, Final Fantasy 14,
20 seconds.
Rez was pretty cool. I guess I'll throw that on there. Oh, Prince of Persia: Sands of Time. That's a good one.
10 seconds left. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Final Fantasy 11.
There we go.
That does not belong on that list.
Final Fantasy 11.
You know what? I'll leave it on there. I love that game eternally. That game's terrible.
Alex,
Was that a 100?
it
It was
was
pretty close.
It was far more than I expected, I'll say. How about
Sure.
that? Alex, I only kind of half listened to your list because I was looking at a timer the entire time. But I'm going to
Yeah,
tell
sure.
you that your top 100 games of all time list is probably a lot better than a lot of the lists that we're going to be talking about today.
Oh, no.
Because that's today's topic. I found a bad top 100 games of all time list, and it kind of broke my brain about halfway through the week. And instead of writing an actual episode, I said, what if we did this instead?
Yeah, fair. Also, I can't believe I forgot every Metroid and Zelda game while I was scrambling through that.
You kind of did.
Because there's like 5 Zelda games that should go on there.
There really is. There really is. Although I was impressed when you just casually threw Rez on there. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, Rez is good, I guess.
That is good. I don't know if it's top 100. It's not. I'll be real. It's not.
It's top 100 in my heart. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, so I absolutely love top 100 games of all time list. Like, I subscribed to quite a few like video game magazines when I was a kid. Electronic Gaming Monthly,
Mhm.
Game Players, Nintendo Power, because I was a Nintendo kid.
Mhm.
And each one of those magazines, well, except I don't think Game Players ever did, but the rest of them would put out like top 100 games of all time when they get to like their 100th issue, or
Mhm.
sometimes incredibly arbitrarily,
Yeah.
as is in the case of the list that we're going to get to eventually. And what's really fun about those lists is how they tend to be. You look at them like when you're a kid, you're like, oh yeah, no, that sort of makes sense. Yeah, that looks really cool. And then you come back later with decades
Mhm.
of experience, and you
Right.
go like, yo, you really thought Kid Icarus was the 34th best game of all time?
Yeah.
I don't know that Kid Icarus is a good game.
It is
It's
not.
Let alone
not.
one of the best
No.
games of all time.
It's incredibly charming, but oh man, that's barely a game.
like if we're ranking on title screen music alone, maybe.
Yeah. You rate it on the strength of that first stage, and you go like, Kid Icarus is the best game for the NES.
Yeah.
It's cool.
That's about the little time you get frustrated enough to stop playing.
Exactly.
Yep.
You get to that second stage and you're like, nah, I think I'm good, thanks.
Yes, this actually sucks. I'm gonna go play Ice Climber. Oh
Oh
no.
no, it's even worse.
I'm gonna go play Urban Champion. Oh no.
No.
What am I doing with all these black box games?
Oh man. Yeah, and people say that Nintendo's output has always been good. So, like, I absolutely love these lists. And a while back on stream, I actually went through EGM's top 100 games of all time, circa 1997, which featured Kid Icarus as the 34th best game of all time,
Mm.
ahead of the vast majority of Mario games,
Oof.
for instance.
What year did that come out?
What?
97,
97, yes.
I was like, maybe if you put the list out in like 1989, like there's not a lot of competition, so maybe.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, I just have this list open right now. It is absolutely insane because yeah, Kid Icarus is 34th, which is ahead of such games such as Contra, Ghouls and Ghost, Mario Kart 64, Tekken 2,
Mm.
Castlevania
Mhm.
3, the first Fantasy Star, Game Boy Donkey Kong, which
Okay.
is a great version of Donkey Kong.
oh yes,
Shockingly
that's
good.
on my top 100.
Now, that that actually is not the most shocking entry on this list. This most shocking one is number 78, which is Mega Man X4. Not the highest rated Mega Man game on there. Mega Man 2 is on there at 73. But the reason why that one's funny is because that is the exact month that game came out. And they gave it an average score of 8.0 out of 10.
Yeah, maybe they should have let that one stew for a bit.
Yeah.
Maybe come back to it in a year, see if you still feel that way.
Right? Right? Anyways, I could keep going on about this list. This list is not our topic of today, but seeing that list and going through it on stream, I was like, I need to find more of these lists one day. And I forgot about it until this week when I got bored and found the list we're going to be talking about.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Now, this list that we're going to be going over is crazy in ways that I would not quite expect. But before we get to it, I do want to go over two things before we start. The first is the methodology behind why I decided to select a list from the late 90s.
Okay.
Now, the first reason is because nowadays there are just so many video games that are being released and so many video games that are just out there in general that like hit so many different niches and whatnot. That the idea of like doing like a top 100 games of all time list like nowadays is insane to me.
Sure.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
I mean, there's 20 extra years of games to go through at this point.
Right.
Yeah.
And
like, hey, what's better, Super Mario Brothers or Dark Souls?
Yeah, right. And it's like, how do you
Mario
even
Brothers.
decide?
How
But-
could you possibly?
And
so like sorry, this is a weird aside. On our own my own podcast, the Cartridge Blowers podcast on YouTube, for our 100th episode, we did do a like best games ever list, but we like made it 20 because you know we weren't gluttons for punishment.
yeah.
Like people submitted hundreds of things, but we were like, we're just gonna give it point values and make it 20 because this is just too much math.
Yeah, and so imagine like actually putting out to like 100 with the amount of games that are out today. Like it's absolutely insane. And like, what exactly is like a game that's relevant nowadays? And what's a game that you would want to actually play is like to give an example, like probably like one of my top 100 games is Donut County.
Sure.
The game about the raccoon Illuminati, the donut store that they run. Like, is that actually a top 100 game? Probably not, but it is for me, and that's kind of the same way for a lot of people.
I mean, like, yeah, like it's very subjective, and like it's hard to decide on what's like a video game canon, you know, because I mean, like Donut County is like that's a great example of something that's super interesting and unique. And then if I look at my own top 100 list, like a lot of stuff that is, you know, probably on that would go on a modern best games of all time, like. I don't really like I bounce off Minecraft every time I try to play it. That would not make my top 100.
Yeah.
But like, you know, I get that it should be there.
Yeah. It's kind of the same with like Fortnite. Like
Right, yeah.
Right. Or something like Super Mario 64, which when it came out was revolutionary, and
Sure.
today is not fun and kind of bad.
Okay,
That's a hot take.
yeah.
But
Really?
I get what you're saying.
Really?
Yeah.
That's the GoldenEye position for me.
Yeah.
Okay. I get that.
GoldenEye fits that same, oh yeah, everyone loves GoldenEye. And if you go back and play GoldenEye now, it's unplayable garbage.
It's difficult, yes.
I just assume that's true for any first-person shooter on console pre-twin stick.
Yes.
Yeah.
You were 100% correct about that. So yeah.
Siphon filter.
Yeah. I mean,
come on, for someone bring back Gabe Logan. I've been waiting for so long.
he still has that very
more
swimmy
siphon
run
filter.
where he just puts his hips into everything. It's great.
They're gonna. I think they're HD remaking those games.
There was something about that.
I was being facetious. They don't have to do that.
Well, they're gonna.
Oh no, what have I wrought?
Oh, yes. So, yeah, that's one of the reasons why we are going with a list from the late 90s. The second is also because any list that's like top 100 games from now, it's unfortunately going to be online. And I am so internet poisoned at this point where anytime I look at anything that has any sort of slight controversy, I wonder, are they just doing that just to garner controversy and clicks?
Yeah, and probably.
Yeah, IGN's most recent top 100 games has Breath of the Wild as their top game of all time.
Sure.
Which is like, I wonder on that one. I mean, it's a great game. It's a great game. No, it's a great game.
Yeah,
it's my number one. But like, I also get that a lot of people have very valid criticisms of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're keeping it to the late 90s. So yeah, that's a. And the second thing I want to go over before we get started is that there was a lot of lists to go over, and I wanted to at least highlight two that I felt were kind of funny. They didn't make the cut, but I saw them and was like, okay, we got to talk about some of the dumb things on here.
Okay.
Now, the first is a list from GamePro.com. Remember that hot banger website?
Yeah.
What's the fun factor on these games? I gotta know. Show me the face. A beautiful fun factor.
Yeah, it's just the face is exploding. So it's a 5.0. Yeah, so GamePro.com, where gamers go first, which was not true, which is why it's defunct now. Part of IDG Entertainment, consisting of such websites as GameDownloads.com and SuxerRules.com, which is a very, very bad website. Very, very bad. It's basically a polling website where you put two pictures next to each other and vote, and users can vote, which means there's one video game thing, and the rest are like, which girl is hotter? Is it this girl? Is it this girl?
Yeah.
And it's sad in a way Web 2.0 was back in the day. Anyways, they put out a 52 most influential games of all time, which I found a very interesting list. Their number one is Grand Theft Auto 3, which I don't know if I necessarily agree with it, but I do think it's a top 5, just with how the game industry's gone since then.
Right.
I mean, when did this list come out?
This list came out 2007.
That's like right after 06 was a damn good year. I guess, yeah, maybe, yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like I don't think that's true in my opinion.
Is Vice City out by that point though?
It has. Oh yeah, it absolutely is. San Andreas is out by that point.
I feel like the GTA 3D trilogy gets better with each iteration.
Well, no, it gets better, but their criteria is most influential.
Most influential. Okay, yeah, I buy that then. I buy that.
Well, so if you're talking influential, I don't see how you beat Mario Brothers.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you on that. I don't remember exactly where Mario Brothers landed on this list, but I do know where Enter the Matrix did. Remember that great game?
Yeah, that very influential, major impact on the industry of.
People are looking at it these days, and they're like, "What? That's a very Enter the Matrix like."
Yeah.
They absolutely are. Yeah, it's number 43 on this list, ahead of such luminaries such as Halo, Super Mario Kart, and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Oh, and Gran Turismo.
Those 4 are travesties being behind Enter the Matrix.
Wow.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, right? Oh, it's so good.
Tony Hawk?
Yeah.
Tony Hawk invented a genre.
It did. I think all of those invented a genre or refined them into a new formula.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right, but
But
like,
yeah, Enter the Matrix really.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's not even good.
There had never been a video game movie tie-in that was also a video game anime movie tie-in before. It was a cinematic universe of cross media promotional.
Mm-hmm.
Woof.
Yeah, right. Yeah, this list is full of all sorts of hot takes like that. Like Space War, the very first video game ever, or
Okay.
credited as the first video game ever, is
Uh-huh.
39 behind Mortal Kombat 2. I mean, Mortal Kombat. If you're gonna do like influential, I think it would be Mortal Kombat.
I mean,
Yeah.
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 Does Street Fighter make the list?
That is a great question. Let's see if Street Fighter makes
Because you don't have a Mortal
list.
Kombat without Street Fighter 2.
Right. You don't have the fighting game genre without Street Fighter.
Right.
I am looking on here. Unfortunately, I'm having to use the Wayback Machine for this one.
Sure.
For this
yeah.
hot banger.
And then if you really want to like go back, like I mean, like Yair Kung Fu gives you like fighting games, and so like, but even then,
Yeah, kind of, but like what they are, like how they work.
It's Street Fighter. Street Fighter 2 is the prototypical fighting game,
Right.
and like what, like I guess Space War is the prototypical video game.
Mhm.
If that's the case, then it's number one,
Right.
right? If we're arguing that for Space War, but like it's Space War. Like none of us have played it. No one has.
No one
Right.
has.
You've seen like a screenshot and like a book or something, and like that's it. And it looks like asteroids. It's probably just asteroids, right?
It basically
Right.
is. Street Fighter 2 is on here. It's 17, just ahead of SimCity and just behind Doom. Metroid
Okay.
is ahead of Street Fighter 2, by the way.
No. No.
If this
No.
list had come out in 2022, yes.
You could make an argument of how many, like Metroid-like games, or
right.
whatnot.
But
Search
that-
action games.
In 2007, no.
That's not even Metroid though. That's like explicitly Super Metroid.
True. Yeah.
True.
OG Metroid is not a very fun
Yeah,
game.
OG Metroid is not super influential. I'm sorry.
Or good.
Mm-hmm.
No.
I'm really
Then
glad I
if
brought
we're
up
doing
this
hot
list.
takes.
I'm really glad I brought up this list because this list is nuts, and it's not even the list I eventually went with.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the other second runner-up that I had is a magazine. It's the 1995 Top 100 Games of All Time list from Flux Magazine. Have you ever heard of Flux?
I think I have.
Flux.
I read a lot of video game magazines. I've never heard of Flux.
Flux was a magazine that billed themselves as either the most dangerous or most controversial video game and comic zine on the market.
Okay.
Oh yay! This sounds like a '90s ass magazine.
It is.
Leisure Suit Larry is number one.
I actually don't remember what is number one because I was just so fixated on like the write-ups for other things. But yeah, Flux is exactly what you think it is, which is basically, hey, we're gonna make our magazine adult, and by adult I mean we're going to do so for 13-year-olds.
Yeah.
Cool.
Their number one is actually Space Invaders, which is not the world's worst choice.
Yeah.
But just to give you some little nuggets from this one, they had Lunar at 76, and I mostly put these on for the write-ups.
Oh no.
Wait. Okay, who's making this list? Because you said Space Invaders is number one.
Yeah.
And my mind is like, okay, if you're in 1994 or 5 or whatever, and you're picking Space Invaders as the number one best game of all time, like you're probably like 35 in 1994.
Yeah,
right?
you think so, right?
Like you're super
Right.
old, but then you're picking Lunar?
Mhm.
What? You're old and you like working designs games? Are you okay? That's okay.
He just
That's
likes those hot anime
sure.
babes.
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no, Lunar at 76, and they say, quote, the best RPG that will ever be for the Sega CD, not wrong,
Yeah.
True. Okay.
featuring a greatly amusing story filled with pop culture references and double entendres that got past the censor weasels at Sega, end quote.
Oh my god.
Oh, no,
Oh man.
it gets better. It gets better. So at number 17, they had Donkey Kong Country, which they said, quote,
Okay.
Super Nintendo owners had no idea their little gray boxes could pump out fully rendered, lightning fast graphics like those in DK Country. And for 100 levels, no less, grab an IV and pop into your arm. You won't be getting up from in front of the tube for quite a while. Which, first off, no, you were lied to, you idiot. There's no special chips in there. They just digitized the graphics. That's all they did. It's just Mortal Kombat, like, sorcery. That's all it is. And also, there's not 100 levels in that game.
I was about to say, I was literally typing how many levels are in, because it's not 100. What?
Right? Okay, now, but my personal favorite. Well, this is not my personal favorite, but it's close. Centipede at number 15.
Okay.
Sure, man, I guess.
Okay.
So they say, quote, okay, so it's a chick game. I mean, pastels.
What?
Damn.
Oh my god.
Still, Centipede was the first real innovation on Space Invaders to come down the pike in a while, and it got your girlfriend off your back while you paid attention to more important things, like Defender. End quote. A Defender doesn't make their list, first off.
Oh my god.
And second, I get what they're doing because Centipede was known for having, pretty broad appeal.
Right.
And they're being like, oh man, this girl game, look at that. I mean, we secretly enjoyed it, but
like
there's a history to like Centipede specifically getting, female gamers into arcades.
Mm-hmm.
But again, that reads so much like, how old are you in 1994? What? I don't know. Like me in 94, I feel like, I'm the age, I'm like 10 years old. I'm the one who is buying these magazines,
right?
Mm-hmm.
And
right?
so like, I don't know what you're talking about. I've never actually played Centipede, probably, and so that's sure, I guess, man. Yeah, girl power, no women allowed. Boy power,
yes.
Boy power, yeah.
So one last thing from Flux, and this is actually my favorite thing, and I'm actually going to pull this up. This is their top 25 all-time worst video games.
Oh my god. Okay, let's see these.
Worst video games?
Worst video games. Now, on here, there's a lot on here that makes sense. Like, Bram Stoker's Dracula for the Sega CD or Make Your Own Video. But it gets really, really strange because it seems like they just really hate certain arcade games.
Uh-huh.
Like Frogger's their 22nd worst game of all time.
Really?
Dig Dug.
Yeah, Dig Dug. Or Q*bert.
Dig Dug 12.
Yeah, Q*bert's the third worst game of all time. Pingu is the second worst game of all time.
Wait, Sylphid?
Yeah, Sylphid.
Yeah,
a pretty fucking cool game,
Sylphid
actually.
There is nothing wrong with Sylphid.
I'm looking. Okay, so, Indiana Jones 2600 sucks.
Yeah.
Home Alone on Genesis is garbage. Frogger is a wild choice. Like Q*bert's not bad.
Q*bert's not a bad game.
Yeah, and like ET 26. Okay, we get it.
Yeah, it is basically just somebody on this, like, writing this just had some real issues with some, like, certain arcade games that they were bad at. It's just how
it really feels like that. It's just like fucking
also
Dig Dug.
Basic programming on 2600.
Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah, basic programming. Who wants to learn about programming on their Atari 2600? Yeah, it's really, really dumb. But that's not the list we're going to be going over today. I think it's finally time that we get to the list that we're going to be talking about.
Oh boy.
And the list is going to be Next Generation's Top 100 Games of All Time from 1996. The September 1996 issue.
Boy.
Alex, Matt, have you ever heard of Next Generation?
No.
Yeah, I
wait, yes. Yes, I can visualize their logo in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, I feel Next Generation had kind of like the more mature feel to it compared to like EGM and Game Pro and Tips and Tricks and stuff. Like, you would read like this is a really dumb comparison, but like Next Generation is the New Yorker of video game magazines.
That's actually not that wrong. I mean,
yeah,
it's like either the New Yorker or the Bloomberg.
Yeah, there would be like long articles about the business and about like,
interviews with game developers, like actual
developers. Real inside baseball stuff.
Yeah,
and as a kid, I'm like, this is kind of neat,
Yeah, it had a very neat sort of niche to it. Yeah, so their main thing is that they didn't have walkthroughs in there or like cheat
Mhm.
codes or whatnot, and they also covered basically the video game industry as a whole. So like unlike
Mm.
say like EGM, which covered like consoles and occasionally like arcades, or like PC Gamer, which obviously covered PC games, they were more than happy to cover everything.
Mhm.
Which meant that when they put together this list for their September issue, it ended up being just like this really like very broad sort of thing. Like there's going to be
Right.
PC, arcade, and console games in here,
That's
which
cool.
Okay.
yeah, it makes it a very very interesting list. Now, Next Generation was also known for not crediting their writers.
Sure.
Now they would credit them at like the start of their issue, but like their big thing is that like, oh, all articles are basically written as a team, so you didn't know
Mhm.
who would write each individual article, which I
It
felt
would be
was a
like
little
signed
weird.
Next Generation staff or something.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I did go through to see who exactly wrote for this particular issue, and there's actually some pretty interesting people who wrote for this. Colin Campbell, for instance, wrote for this. He's still a
Mm.
freelance writer to this day, working for outlets such as Polygon and whatnot. He's basically written for everybody by this point. Pretty
Right.
well-known old hand in the industry. Chris Charla is kind of the same, although he got out of journalism a while ago. Is currently the director at ID at Xbox, which is Microsoft's indie game publishing and outreach arm.
Mhm.
And also Gary Whitta was a contributor as well.
Hmm.
Gary Whitta
Okay.
being a former journalist himself, now currently a screenwriter who's known for helping to write Rogue One and the Book of Eli.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, very interesting sort of set of people in that. And yeah, in this particular issue that they like did things like they talked to Eugene Jarvis and had like a very wide-ranging interview about retro arcade games and how they compare to
Hmm.
modern games, which is both mix of like some good insight and also man yells at cloud,
Right. Sure.
which is a lot of fun. But
Yeah.
eventually they said, hey, you know what? Let's go ahead and put together our own top 100 games, a list of all time. And that's what we're going to go over. Now, this list is nuts in many different ways. To start with, I want to kind of talk about how exactly they went about deciding how to even do this.
Mhm.
Now, on their front cover, which I'm not going to show because it does spoil a few things, they like basically are like confidential. These games are on our top 100 list, and they make sure to very specifically point out, but not missed.
Ah.
So already
Okay.
their like positioning is like this is kind of a controversial sort of list, which is
Uh-huh.
really at odds with what their magazine's about in the first place.
Right.
The second is they have an extremely stringent criteria that they established. Now, according to them, first, in order to make the list, the game had to be one that they would still play today. And they specifically cite Mr. Dew's Wild Ride as something that would not make this list because of it.
that specifically, huh?
That specifically.
Okay.
They say, second, while historical significance is undoubtedly important, the 100 most influential games of all time is a different list entirely. So historical significance didn't get a game included all by itself.
Okay.
Third, they said, hey, listen, we're not going to just like pick arbitrarily and be like, okay, well, this game has to make this. And also, games that are part of a series are just going to be included as part of a series. So, for instance,
Mhm.
it's not going to be separate Mario games. It's just going to be Mario series.
Okay.
Or,
Okay.
you know,
Mm.
to spoil things, Leisure Suit Larry is in this. It'll be
Okay.
Leisure
Sure,
Suit
of
Larry
course, of
series.
course.
They're going to violate this rule so many damn times over this list to the point of frustration. And also, I feel that they say that they didn't want to just be like, okay, we're going to take like maybe the top 10 per system or per genre. They say that's the coward's way out. And then they explicitly go like, we're going to take the coward's way out and just be like, well, we don't want to monopolize this with Mario games. Even though a lot of those games are pretty different from one another.
Right.
So that's kind of their big things that they got going on. There's a few other weird things in here. For instance, they're going to only list like the best versions for each game, but they also do things by saying like, hey, listen, if we say PCs, we mean it's like an Apple II or Commodore 64 game. But if we say PC, it's an MS-DOS game, which is like, that's just dumb. Why are you doing this?
Sure. What?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, one last thing. They said there are definitely some surprises on this list. Almost no shooters made their final cut, and there isn't a final fight style game here either. And they say this reflects our own bias towards genres that require thought above Twitch skills. Once again, they're going to violate this all the time throughout this list. They also,
Oh boy.
yes. So you ready to take a look at this dumb list?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
All
When
right.
when was this published again?
September, roughly about September 1996.
Okay.
So this is like pre-Ocarina, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, this is right before the N64?
Nintendo
Yeah.
64 is hot off the presses. Like,
Okay.
Wow.
yeah, they have the
Okay.
first two N64 reviews in this particular issue: Super Mario 64 and Pilot Wing 64, which both got perfect scores.
But did make the list.
I don't
I'm
know. We'll have to
thinking
find
if
out.
I'm
Yeah.
thinking if Pilot Wings deserved that perfect score. I love Pilot
I
Wings
per-
64,
I
but
personally think it does, but it's because I
Listen,
played Pilot
Nestor
Wings
said
the
it.
wrong way.
yeah.
So let's jump into this. Our first game on here is Trinity at number 100.
Dude, I love Trinity.
Do you?
I've never heard of this game before.
Yeah, no, I don't.
What the fuck is this?
So Trinity is the first of what's going to be a lot of text-based adventure games on this
Okay.
list. So yeah,
Gosh, like an Infocom text adventure. Those are like
there are so many Infocom text adventure
those
games.
are the deep ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a 1986 game that was released that basically explores, I think, post-nuclear war, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the first one. 99 NBA Jam series.
Fuck yeah. Okay.
All right.
No,
I'm here for it.
I think this is bullshit. NBA Jam should be so much higher.
I agree.
Oh, no, for sure. I'm just cheering at making the list.
Mm-hmm.
I will immediately, as soon as we see 98, be like, come on, because NBA Jam should be up ahead of it.
Yeah. No, like keep in mind the context of when this list is. Yeah, NBA Jam should be higher. It's still pretty fresh in people's mind.
I'm looking at this review here, the write-up,
Mhm.
and the memorable moment is Ad-Rock executing a flaming dunk over Bill Clinton, and it's like, I guess like the secret character stuff was never appealing to me. I just thought it was a fun ass game.
Yeah, oh god, it's so good. It's
really
so
fun.
good. And yeah,
It holds up too.
It does. It totally does. Yeah, their criticism is that many of the innovations are now cliche, but it remains one of the best arcade machines around. There's going to be so many other arcade games that are going to be ahead of this, and I'm like, how are those not old?
And also, like, many of its innovations are now cliche. Okay, I guess
that's not the game's fault.
Yeah, that's the industry. Like, that means that this was the originator. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's a decision. It's a decision.
Sure.
Right.
Okay.
98 is R-Type, which R-Type, fantastic game.
Great
Okay,
game.
R-Type is cool.
Yeah, another game that I would argue should be higher, but
not before NBA Jam.
Yeah,
no, not
I don't
before
know
NBA
about
Jam.
that,
No.
Like,
No.
I think R-Type belongs in top 100. Probably, like, still here in, like, the bottom 50 as well. Not this early, but, like, you know.
Yeah,
it's good that it's here.
It is. It's like, yeah, thank you for recognizing R-Type. People should be talking about R-Type more often.
For sure.
I agree.
97 is Space Invaders.
Oh.
About where Space Invaders belong.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, it's an innovator, 1978, it's the game Taito's known for.
They literally say Space Invaders is Twitch gaming.
Yeah.
And then they also said, we're not going to talk about Twitch gaming.
Yeah. Final Fight doesn't deserve to be on this list.
Well, agreed, but Streets of Rage exists, and so, like, come on, like, Turtles in Time is real, y'all. It's real.
Right? Yeah, there's not a single beat 'em up on this list, by the way. Just gonna spoil that right now. 96 is Galaga. Which, sure.
Galaga's all right, yeah. I like Space Invaders more, but
I like Galaga more than Space Invaders.
Yeah, but they're both fun.
Yeah,
they're fine.
I would play both. If I was in an arcade and I saw them, I'd put a quarter in each of them and then would walk away.
Okay, fair.
Yeah.
95 is the Strike series, which would be EA's isometric helicopter games.
Okay, so
which they had.
Trinity, I didn't know what it is. This, I do know what it is. These games suck.
Yeah, these aren't good.
They aren't, but they were so... You do not understand how popular these games were back in the 90s.
Yeah.
I know they were popular.
And they were
dumb.
very unique, but yeah, these are bad.
I totally forgot how many of these games they put out over a 5-year period.
There were so many.
They all control like garbage.
They do.
Yeah.
And then it's like... Literally next year, they would come out with Nuclear Strike on the PlayStation. Like, it's a... It's amazing. It's amazing how they just kept putting these damn things out, and they're all the same.
Like, I was 5 when I played this game, and I knew it was trash.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I played. God, what did I think I've played Jungle Strike not too long ago on
Oof.
stream, and like,
Yeah, it's not
like
good.
it's they're ugly games. I'm pretty sure Jungle Strike didn't have any music.
Probably
Like,
not. I don't think most of them
Sounds
did.
about right. Yeah.
yeah, what a just drab, terrible experience. To make a top 100 is, I would never in my wildest dreams consider this series for a top
No.
100.
This is, I think, I'm trying to think if like EGM put the Strike series on there, any of the games on there, and I'm not sure they did. Like, yeah,
Good.
it's that this doesn't show up very often. So yeah, this is the first one where I was like, okay, sure. 94, Rave Racer. Ridge Racer had not quite come out yet, in case you're all wondering.
Okay.
But yeah, that's the start of the Ridge Racer series. Rave Racer, I was never a huge fan of. Ridge Racer was the one that clicked with me. Specifically,
I never
PlayStation
played
version.
Rave Racer, but Ridge Racer rules.
Mm-hmm.
And like original Ridge Racer, honestly, still holds up.
Mm-hmm.
And so like if if Rave Racer is anything like it, I'm sure I would agree. I think in a modern list, Ridge Racer makes it.
Mm-hmm.
At
Yeah,
least like R4 makes
absolutely.
it.
Absolutely.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, the Ridge Racer series is so good,
I can
man.
also see this argument that as an arcade game with the proper like audio setup and
Sure.
like the whole cabinet, like yeah, the experience is more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. 93, Burning Force. Burning Force is a game that I have played once. It's very Space Harrier like, but is not as good as Space Harrier in my opinion.
Well,
Yeah.
that's not great because I think Space Harrier is awful.
Oh, that is some fucking fighting words.
Space Harrier has it looks cool. It has great visuals, and oh come on, that music's so good. But wow, dog shit to play.
Oh no, man! No. Are you playing? Okay, hold on. Like, are you like playing with like a D-pad where you don't like automatically go back to center? Because if you're playing with like a D-pad where you stick to like one portion of the screen, then yeah, that is a terrible version.
I have only played with a D-pad. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. Okay, yeah. No, you need to either play the
I need a
Dreamcast version with
trackball.
analog, or yeah, in the arcade with the actual joystick. Because
Okay.
yeah, no, it literally is a different experience. Space Harrier needs to be on this list. Space Harrier is not on this list, and is a
Wait,
travesty.
Space Harrier isn't.
Wait,
but
why
this
is why is the inferior clone
I don't
on the
know.
list?
I don't know. That's what gets me. There are so many games that are on this list that are like this game is a little bit visually better, I guess, for the time. I think Space Harrier's aged a little bit better, but there's a lot of games on here that are like, going to be like very visually impressive, but have nothing else going for it.
Right.
And so I kind of wonder if it was kind of like, oh, this looks kind of pretty. This looks better than Space Harrier. Let's put this on.
The write-up here says what earns Burning Force its place in this list is level design. Okay. And the fact that no enemies are repeated from level to level. Okay, I guess.
Yeah. Also, never hit commercially. BF can be found at garage sales.
Oh, cool. Okay, good to know.
Yeah, good to know.
I'm just looking at the fact that the first thing this review says is Space Harrier.
Yeah.
A Space Harrier style forward scrolling shooter.
Yeah. Yeah,
All
but
right.
you know, but we're not going to have actual Space Harrier on here. Honestly, I shouldn't complain because there's going to be so many Sega games on this list. So,
Okay, cool.
Don't worry, we're gonna get our Sega arcade game fix in a little bit.
Oh boy.
92 is Hard Hat Mac, that banger of game from Electronic Arts from 1982.
Oh yeah, dope. Love Hard Hat Mac.
Yeah, great. Everyone remembers and celebrates Hard Hat Mac.
It's like a more complicated version of Donkey Kong without the charm of Donkey Kong.
That's exactly what it looks like.
If you own a Commodore 64, chances are you had a copy. Well, I have bad news for you. I did not own a Commodore 64.
Neither did I.
Yeah. I guess it's not our time. Oh.
91 is Resident Evil, right?
91.
Yes.
Resident Evil.
I mean, okay, so this is like not too long after Resident Evil is released. This is a pretty fresh game at this point.
Yep.
So I guess like we don't know, or they don't know how influential this game is going to be.
Yeah.
Right, and they did say this isn't like an influential list. This is
Right.
a best list.
Mhm.
Resident Evil should be higher.
For sure, still, like,
Oh,
even if
yeah.
it's not influential,
Absolutely.
like, this like, in 1996, this game fucking
Yeah,
ruled. Are you
in
kidding me?
'96, this game should be top 15 at least.
There were 2 games that got me to buy a PlayStation. It was Final Fantasy VII and then
Mhm.
this.
Mhm. Yeah, and I don't blame you on that. I don't blame you on
Yeah.
that. This was Capcom's best-selling game when it came out.
Yeah.
Understandable.
Yeah. Yeah, it and as they mentioned here, it quickly became the best-selling PlayStation game in the US, which is also true. Like, this game was so huge at the time.
Mhm.
Too bad it's not as good as Leisure Suit Larry.
True.
Oh yeah, I guess I spoiled that. Yeah, it's not as good as Leisure Suit Larry.
But I mean, like, Leisure Suit Larry is a pretty great tent pole to hang our this game isn't as good as that hat.
Amazing.
Because, like, you kidding me? This ain't as good as Leisure Suit Larry's fucking, I don't know, whatever cum pun they're gonna use this week, because Christ, no. Resident Evil is better than oh, never mind. Okay, that's
Yeah,
fine.
it's
Yeah.
ridiculous. It's
That's
ridiculous.
great list.
90 is Xevious. The
Resident Evil
Oh,
better than Xevious, but okay.
Yes,
Xevious
yes.
better than Resident Evil. Okay, yeah, Xevious. Yeah, Xevious. Everyone's favorite this.
Xevious is not even my favorite top-down
No.
vertical scrolling
No.
shooter.
I rate Galaga higher.
Yeah,
Mhm.
agreed.
I would too.
Xevious is weird. Okay, so, like,
Where's my
Next
1942?
Generations 1942 is way better than Xevious.
Oh, way better.
Xevious is really popular in Japan,
It is.
but
Yeah.
not here. But Next Generation is an American magazine, right?
That is correct. It is a California-based magazine.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe Xevious was just, like, super hot on the West Coast only, and,
Maybe.
like, the rest of the country never got into it, because Xevious never clicked here.
There's a lot of things about this list that almost made me question if this was like a British magazine at times with some of the like weirder choices, like
If you
PC
tell me
games.
fucking Dizzy is on here, I'm gonna lose my shit.
No, unfortunately, Dizzy, our friendly
Damn.
hopping egg, is not on here.
Damn.
Fuck Dizzy. All right.
Yeah, weird game on there though. This one is also weird. This is what
Okay.
really made me question if this was like actually like a British magazine, and I was mistaken. 89 is Summer Games, Winter Games, and California Games, which are all 3 different games, but they decided to just
Yeah.
group them together.
I was like, okay, California games should probably be like 90s on this list.
At this time from when this came out, sure, I will buy that, even though I've never liked California Games.
Same.
But yeah, this is better than Resident Evil.
No.
These guys said, "Hey, listen, we would rather play California Games than Resident Evil."
Yeah, that's.
Maybe they freshly beat Resident Evil. It's like I don't really want to go back to this. But California
Yeah,
Games,
I'd really rather play California. You know, I just want to pop in TNC Surf Designs rather than Resident Evil. This is fucking great. Shut up.
I want to play the dumb hacky sack game that I always mess up on.
Oh, I hate California games.
Yeah.
Memorable moments, the way the Epic's flag theme is twice as long as any of the other national anthems. Nice one.
What a great moment. And
Wow, what incredible. You know what? Fuck it. I take it back. I cast aside my nostalgia for California games. Let it burn. No, the half pipe's still okay.
The half pipe's still okay.
Look at the screenshot. Like, I know audio listeners, you can't tell. This is maybe the worst screenshot we've seen so far of any game.
I don't know what's happening in this.
It's like a purple miasma with like a flaming man standing on a American Gladiator's lift. Like, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, the unedited version of this is being recorded, will be placed on YouTube because there's so many visual elements in this, which is also why I'm trying to explain as much of them. But some of these, some of these I did put like actual screenshots with them. This one I didn't because I was like, no, it doesn't deserve it.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
Number 88 is a game. Actually, this is also another game that was like, is this a British magazine? Night Lore from Ultimate Play the Game, released in 1983. I think this game is perfectly fine to be on this list. Ultimate is the company that became Rare, or actually, I guess they are still Rare.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, this is part of the Saberwolf series, the 3rd game, actually, which are pretty cool isometric puzzle platformers. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is perfectly fine. I have no problem with this game.
Sure.
87, Discs of Tron, which I had never heard of until today.
I don't feel like this game should be on a top 100 list. I'm not saying it's bad. I just don't know top 100.
It has a very interesting visual style. It's a 3D cabinet.
Okay, yeah. That makes sense.
So it's a very neat game to look at, but it is quite simple. You're throwing discs at each other.
Right.
And I mean, like, just visually, it's a really cool game. Even like 10 years later, or like seeing the screenshot in '94, I'd be like, "Whoa, that looks super cool."
Yeah, it's a sick looking game.
Yeah, but not top 100.
No.
Not better than Resident Evil.
You know what's also better than Resident Evil? Jumping Flash.
Come on.
Okay. Now let's be fair. I've never played Jumping Flash. It doesn't seem good.
You are missing nothing.
I liked Jumping Flash when I was a kid. I would not play it now.
It's not a bad game. It's just like it's kind of plain.
Right.
You know? It is
again talking not influential, talking fun.
Right.
Good game.
Like we were talking earlier about how Mario 64 doesn't hold up.
Like
imagine Mario 64 and like except there's no interesting controls.
Right.
Yeah.
Like Jumping Flash is
Jumping Flash was pre-analog stick.
Right.
Like the 3D graphics were the sort of appeal of it, and it doesn't really work.
Yeah.
It wasn't very fun to play even at that time. So
yeah, it was one of those games that kind of got a lot of hype because as they say right here, it was heralded by the press as the first 32-bit game to succeed at creating a new genre. It was 3D and it played great. And so that was kind of its claim to fame. It's considered to be the first 3D platformer,
right?
Which is a lie, by the way. Guinness Book of World Records says that, and a few other outlets say it. That's not true. The actual first 3D platformer was likely Alpha Waves for the Atari ST back in 1990. This seems very pedantic, but I hate this list, so I'm going to be pedantic.
Sure, yeah.
And yeah, like when I played this in Jumping Flash 2 when I was a kid, like it was really, really cool. It's like, man, look at these colorful graphics in the 3D and whatnot. But yeah, it controls so terribly.
Like it was a PlayStation killer app at like launch.
It was. Right. It totally. I think it does deserve to be on this list, but it was one of those
maybe like a list top 100 PlayStation specifically games.
Yeah,
but like of all time, no, thank you.
Yeah, no. Oh, hey, here's your Leisure Suit Larry, by the way.
Okay, yeah, 85, sure.
Yeah, the photos I have in here are of the original Leisure Suit Larry and Love for Sale, which is their attempt at doing basically the Monkey Island, the third game, which I forget what that is.
Yeah, that's Escape, I think.
Yeah,
maybe Curse. I don't remember. It's
yeah.
I played a Leisure Suit Larry game one time. It was one on. I think there was a PS2 one. It might have been
Magna Cum
Laude. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I rented it, and I was like, I was alone playing it, and I felt embarrassed.
Yeah.
Okay. Not to come to the defense of this phrasing, but that is not fair to the series that's the game you played. That game is absolute trash.
Sure.
The classic Sierra games are actually kind of
all right,
charming and endearing in their hokey, stupid, like quintessential 80s sex humor.
Sure.
But they have a certain charm and genuineness to them that is kind of endearing.
So you're telling me, and these are the words that you just said,
yes,
that these games are better than Resident Evil.
Yes, that is what I'm saying.
Oh, that makes sense. I buy it.
Do you want to learn something very disturbing? They're still making Leisure Suit Larry games to this day.
Oh, I know.
Oh, you do? Oh, you know about Wet Dreams Dry Twice? The hot banger that came out in 2020?
Hadn't heard that particular subtitle, but I was aware it's an ongoing franchise for reasons.
Yeah, I don't know. I was disturbed to learn that as going through this. I was like, I don't think they really should be, but okay. It's probably better than Box Office Bust, at least. So
probably, and it's almost certainly better than Magna Cum Laude, because apparently that one's just the worst. And I've seen footage of it, and yeah, that game looks like the worst.
Yeah, it ain't great. It ain't great. 84, by the way, is Centipede.
All right, sure.
Okay. Yeah,
And
girls love it.
Yeah, don't think
Yeah.
there's much else to say.
Yeah.
83 is Joust. I love me some Joust.
Joust is good.
Yeah,
I
it's
like Joust.
cool. When I was in high school, I would like I got a computer and I would like make little like I liked making audio plays
Mhm.
just like for silly reasons. I made a Joust trailer for like a
Sure.
movie version of Joust.
Okay, yeah.
And people were like, "Wait, what are you talking about?" And like the whole trailer was about giant cosmic ostriches and how they save the world. And I just love the plot of Joust. I love the universe of Joust. I would like to see the expanded Joust universe.
I would watch that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to see the Joust animated series that tries to adapt the unreleased Joust 2, where your bird person can turn into a Pegasus. It's great.
That's stupid. They ruined it.
They did.
Virtual Cop.
Yeah, 82's Virtual Cop.
Virtual Cop fucking rules.
Virtual Cop is
Cop's
great.
pretty rad.
Yeah.
Yep.
I have nothing more to say. It should probably be a little higher in my opinion, but like
I would agree.
think on a like general public list, it's probably here.
Yeah. This is perfectly fine. 81 is River Raid, the
No.
1982 game from the Atari 2600.
1942 is not on this list, you said?
Right. That's exactly right.
Okay.
I like me some River Raid, but River Raid should be like 100. Maybe.
Yeah.
Xevious is better than River Raid.
I agree. I think pretty much
Galaga is better than River Raid.
This is pretty much. This is like the bottom of the good vertical shooter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was cool for the 2600 because there was a lot going on with it.
Sure.
Like a lot of 2600 games, though, I don't think it's aged well. Falcon Gold, 1994 PC game from Spectrum Holobyte. So this is going to be the first of many flight sim games that have 3D graphics.
Got it.
Not really much else going for them.
Okay, so this is where I got to speak up because Spectrum's FA-18 Hornet was one of the first video games I ever played, and I played it extensively. I'm talking about when I was like 4.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
When I did not know what Kuwait means or Sidewinder or eject. I love and owe a great deal of my life and identity as a person to Spectrum's FA-18 Hornet, and I would put it on a top 100 list. How many of these are going to be on here?
Spectrum Holobyte games, or at least similar flight sims? 4 or so.
Okay. Falcon Gold, huh? Really, Falcon?
Falcon Gold.
Cool name.
They really should have just put Spectrum Flight Sim, and it should be like 90.
Yeah, the Spectrum series, or Flight Sim series or whatnot.
They're all the same.
They kind of are, that's really my main thing with this. Like, if they just did FA-18 or like Falcon Gold, like, okay, yeah, that's fine. But there's going to be a lot of these on this list, kind of like how there's a lot of text adventures where it's like, okay. 79, by the way, is King's Quest.
They should be higher.
Yes. Yeah, it should be.
We're doing the whole series. It should be higher. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, King's Quest is legendary for a reason. It has a surprisingly interesting speedrun community, too.
It does.
I don't believe that.
Yeah. 70 is Track and Field series.
Yeah.
No, as in, no, it shouldn't be on this list, or no, as in, it should be higher.
Not on the list, if not at least lower. It's just terrible. These are not fun to play.
I've never liked Track and Field, but that's because I've always been bad at mashing.
It's just like mashing.
That's the whole game.
Yes.
Yeah, mashing is not a fun video game. I don't understand. And like, I played the PlayStation Track and Field as well. It's also just mashing, but worse.
Mm-hmm.
And so like, nah.
Also, anyone who thinks the Track and Field is better than King's Quest,
for sure,
is insane.
Right? Yeah, they're insane. They're absolutely insane.
You're out of your mind.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I've never played King's Quest. I've just seen it, and I'm like, yeah, those games rule.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first thing on the list. I don't understand any reasoning as to why this is here.
And it goes, once again, it goes against their whole like ethos. Like, well, I wouldn't necessarily call this like Twitch gaming or whatnot, but like they're like things like, oh no, we prefer games where it's like a lot more thinking involved.
Yeah,
It's
this
like,
isn't cerebral.
I mean, literally, it says
King
most
Quest.
of the time, yes, you want a game that challenges your brain, but sometimes the appeal of button pounding is undeniable. What appeal of button? What are you talking
Yeah,
yeah,
about?
like what? I'm not really sure about this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think track and field deserves to be at a top 100 list by 1996 standards, but like it's 78 ahead of some of the games on this list. Absolutely not.
No way. Yeah.
77 Shining Force series.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm pleased by this personally as a man who really likes some Shining Force.
Yeah. This is pre Shining. Like the best Shining Force is Shining Force 3 on the Saturn, and so like the fact that this is pre Shining Force 3 is pretty cool. The OG Shining Force is still pretty cool. Yeah, no, for sure. I have no problem with. I even have a problem with the placement here. I think this is pretty good.
Yeah, perfectly fine with this. Perfectly fine with this.
Yeah.
Those games hold up in my opinion.
For sure.
This one pissed me off. 76 is NBA Live, 96.
Specifically 96?
Off.
Specifically 96, not even the NBA Live series. Specifically 96.
Specifically 96. Now, to be fair, there's only 2 NBA Live games at this point. I mean, EA's been putting out a bunch of other basketball games that technically were not isometric, so I guess that's their delineating factor here. But this is such bullshit. This has made me so angry. This game better than NBA Jam?
Oh yeah, no.
I didn't even realize.
Yeah, no.
Like
this is an awful perspective.
Yeah, it is.
Fuck this camera, first of all.
Yeah. My brain had put together like, oh yeah, we talked about NBA Jam earlier. It's the second basketball game on the list. Oh, that's funny. Oh, wait, it's like 30 places above it.
Yeah, it's like 20 points high. No.
The
controls in this game are so squirrely. Everyone is like so damn squirrely, and there's like there's artificial weight that's like added to the movements that like just do not feel natural at all. There's exactly one good thing about this game. There's one good thing. You can make your own team, and you can just put copies of as many players as you want on there. So you can make a team of 5 Shaqs, and that's kind of cool. And that is it. That is it. These games are terrible. I hate them. I hate the fact that this game is at this point on this list ahead of NBA Jam. It is bullshit.
Also, shout outs to memorable moments proving once and for all that the Golden State Warriors don't need a dominant big man or indeed a defense to win an NBA championship. Statements that have aged.
Yeah.
Indeed.
For sure.
75 is Balance of Power. Balance of Power, for those of you who don't know, is a game where essentially you play as the United States. You try to influence various other countries and turn them away from the Soviet Union and eventually destroy them. You can also go to war and like do like nuclear stuff, which is usually a game over if you do that. So
this is one of the like influences for War Games, the old movie. And I remember a PC in the computer lab when I was in like middle school still had this installed. And like I remember playing this once or twice, and like you definitely immediately try and go to war as fast as possible.
Oh yeah, when you're a kid, yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
it's neat. It's a neat game.
Yeah, it's interesting. I wouldn't put it on a top 100 or anything, but it's
I'm not sure.
Certainly not this high.
I mean, Civilization exists at this point.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, so sure.
74 is Tempest. Tempest is a great arcade game. I love Tempest.
It's one I normally would skip if I'm in an arcade of like classic arcade games. I don't think it's like not fun to me. I just think I like never click with it.
Right.
And I think that's fair.
And I'd rather just play like, most of the classic arcade games we've mentioned so far. But like it's cool. It looks neat.
Yeah.
I do like the visual style a lot. I think that's probably its strongest point.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely. 73 is AH64-D Longbow.
All right. Okay. You know what? I'm pretty sure I played this game too.
I'm glad we have a flight sim specialist with us because I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Okay, so I'm trying to be really fair to this because I'm pretty sure this game's not fun.
Okay.
But flying a helicopter is never fun.
That's very true.
Sure.
flying a helicopter is a nightmare scenario. So that's not fair, and it did replicate the horror that is trying to control a rotary wing aircraft pretty well, I gotta say.
Mm-hmm.
It's not better than Falcon Gold, I'm gonna tell you that, right? Or if I didn't play Falcon Gold, but if it's on the level of F-18 Hornet, I assume it's higher because it came out afterwards. It's not worse than this game.
Yeah, I really do feel like half the reason this is on here is because graphically it looks very, very nice. It's a really good
It does, yeah.
like early 3D game that just like
Right.
had like like texture mapping and whatnot.
Right.
Which is they talk about that in here. So I think that is kind of a big reason why that's on here, to be honest. But yeah, I saw this was like, oh, okay, sure, 73. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, all I'm gonna say is if A10 Warthog's on this list, this needs to get thrown out.
Oh, but I like a warthog.
No, then the helicopter needs to get thrown out because
yes.
A10 was better.
Oh, yeah,
Phantasy Star.
Yeah, 72 is Fantasy Star.
Yeah, sure.
This one is the write-up about this one is nuts, and this has made me think like it's just a bunch of Sega fans on this list because, as you say under what's the big deal, there isn't really anything especially innovative here. The titles just have good, solid gameplay. More than one next-generation editor fondly, actually make that painfully, remember scraping together the ludicrous $70 for a Master System cart. Let me stop you right there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure 5 Master Systems sold in the United States because nobody bought a Master System.
Yeah.
Are you trying to tell me at least 3 of those got sold to next generation editors?
Yeah, that's what got them into the entire business.
That's what got them into the entire business.
Yeah,
they were like,
okay,
holy shit, we got to get a Master System. Do you see that Fantasy Star? And nothing else for the Master System because the Master System is a trash system?
Oddly enough, the best game in the series is still the first.
I don't know if I buy that one.
Yeah. I hope that's not true. To be
wait, I thought you were saying that, and I just read it. And I'm like, no.
No, I'm the magazine saying that, and I'm like, I hope that's not.
Phantasy Star 2 is a fucking classic.
Yeah, 2 is considered a classic. Yes,
2 and 4 are like special games. 1 and 3 are like okay.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
There's a dungeon crawler. Good job.
Yeah.
But yeah, I actually
like
took
the screenshot is from 2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
yeah, to be fair, that is my screenshot, but
okay, got it. I was gonna say what?
Yeah, to be fair, like after I like read that write up and whatnot, I did actually go through to see how many games were Sega games and how many games were Nintendo games on here in terms of like either published by or released exclusively for that particular brand of consoles.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
13 Sega games, 9 Nintendo games.
Interesting.
Indeed.
That's weird that it's only 20 games out of the 100.
Yeah.
For the 2 main consoles at this time period.
Oh yeah, I think there's only like 3 NES games on here.
Okie dokie.
Listen, they have a lot of text adventures to get through.
Sure, of course.
Apparently, the 4th game just sort of went through the same old motions.
They did.
Anyway.
That. 71 is FIFA Soccer for the 3DO and Genesis. This actually was the first FIFA game that came out under EA's label. Rest in peace, FIFA EA games, I guess.
Sure.
So what I really love about this write-up is that FIFA Soccer put the 3DO on the map after a year of disappointing titles for the system. Listen, nothing's going to put the 3DO on the map.
Nothing.
Yeah. You've had 2 years after this game came out to figure out that nothing's going to put the 3DO on the map. What are you talking about?
Put it on the map.
I've never played the 3DO version. I played the Genesis version. It's fine for the era.
Yeah.
So I have no other comment past that.
It's soccer.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It's soccer. You know what's not soccer? Metroid, which is number 70.
Oh my. Okay. No series.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So let's be really fair. What are we talking? We're talking about Super Metroid.
Yeah, because
at this point in time, we're talking about Super Metroid. There are 3 games, and Super is the best of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I love Metroid on these top 100 games lists because it's always going to be all over the place. It's either going to be around the 70s like this is, or there's going to be crazy outliers like EGM when they did their top 150 games in 2001.
Yep, number 1.
Yeah, Super Metroid is their number 1 game.
Yep.
Which is That's a choice.
It is a
It's a choice.
choice, and I'm like, I get it. I would call Super Metroid top 20.
I agree with that.
It's definitely top 20 for me. It might even be top 10 depending on the day.
I mean, again, until the current revolution of indie games, like it was probably
Right.
the best Metroidvania game
And I mean, like, if
for
we're
like a long
talking,
time.
I mean, but even then, if I'm doing my own personal list and we're not doing series,
Yeah,
like I like Dread more. Um,
Yeah.
I
yeah,
like Symphony of the Night more.
yeah,
But
yeah. No,
like,
I do like Super Metroid more than Symphony.
yeah, okay, all
That's
right.
where I fall on
I
that
think that's valid.
It's a valid debate to have.
Yeah,
Oh, it
Like
totally is.
you can definitely fall on either side of that.
for sure.
I do think Dread is better than Super at this point. I mostly might think that Zero Mission is better.
For sure. Yeah.
Right up until that last part, which I hate so much.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
But even then, like I think if you're taking if Super Metroid is being taken into account, and again we're looking at 1994 5,
1996, yeah.
like 6, yeah, like Super Metroid being at 70 is a wild ass
It's a
choice.
wild ass choice.
yeah, it sure is.
Oh, this is another write-up that I hate, by the way. Because
Uh-huh.
under what's the big deal? It's yet another brainchild of Shigeru Miyamoto. Stop right there,
Nope.
you
No, it's
fucking
not.
idiots! You idiots! You
It's
rubes!
not.
You are supposed to be journalists who have the, your ears on the inside. You know,
But I don't even know this other guy. What did he ever make?
Gunpei Yokoi is easily
Yeah,
the
the Ultra
second most
Hand guy.
Yeah,
important person in the company. Easily.
whatever. He never made nothing.
It's an
Yeah.
R&D 1 game, you rubes. Miyamoto's team was R&D 3. I know.
Man made the Game Boy.
He did. Give the man his respect, god damn it. Put a Game Boy game on this list. There are no
They
Game
bought
Boy
him a
games on this
car.
list.
Oh my god. Okay, I was about to.
Well, there technically is. There's going to be
Pokemon
technically.
hadn't come out yet, huh?
Yeah,
It had
Pokemon
not.
was 98.
not in
Yeah.
America.
Yeah. And of course, memorable moments being the original game and finding out Samus Aran is a woman.
come
because,
on,
Uh,
Bro,
It's-
I guess.
It's the
Right.
90s.
All of Super Metroid happened, and that's your memorable moment of the franchise. Okay.
Yep.
Not Ridley flying out of the background at you.
I have to leave at number 69. What the fuck? What the fuck?
Number 69 is
fuck?
Lynx. Lynx is a very nice looking golf game for the PC.
I'm sure it is.
It has a really good flyover that happens before every hole with the nice voiceover. That's all I have to say about this game.
Okay, sure.
I don't.
This is better than Super Metroid.
Should probably
yeah.
be lower on the list. Should probably be lower, but I'll accept it being here.
Thank
People like
you for
golf
Super
games.
Metroid for being our new. This is better than Resident Evil.
Yep.
Stepping point, because this is better than Super Metroid. Are you fucking kidding me?
Oh, if y'all have a problem with this, you're gonna have a problem with
This is
68.
digitized golf, man.
You're gonna have such a problem with 68.
Hit me with that
Oh,
68.
I'm excited.
Inject it into my veins. Get out of here. Get out of here.
Number 68 is Pong.
Okay.
I get it. Like, I get it.
Pong, and this is almost a hot take.
Mm-hmm.
Pong's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Pong's pretty cool. More so, I think like modern takes on Pong are pretty cool. Like
yeah.
I like there was like a like Pong PS1 game that was kind of neat.
Mm-hmm.
And like there's a neat little Pong game that's in like Wii Play.
Yeah.
But like OG Pong,
Yeah. Not sure about that one.
Okay, so I'll be honest, I wouldn't put Pong on a list, and it is not because I think it's bad or doesn't deserve recognition. It's because I don't think you can fairly judge it against literally anything else.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like, it was so far back there that, like, of course it's one of the worst games to exist. No other game existed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like the frame of reference between when it was created and when this list came out is like you can't, it changed so much. You can't fairly judge it on the same scale as basically anything.
For
Yeah.
sure.
No,
For
you
sure.
can't.
Yeah.
You can't at all. You can't at all. Yeah, this is definitely something that should be on that GamePro.com 52 game most influential games, which I think it definitely does.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, as far as this list, I'm not really sure about that one.
Yeah.
Also, this is Twitch gaming. Come on.
Yeah, this is Twitch gaming at its finest.
Twitch gaming.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Pong, the thinking man's game.
And here it is. All right.
One.
67 F/A-18 Hornet 2.0.
Hornet 2. This would be the one with Kuwait and I want to say it wasn't Vietnam.
They say nuking Honolulu.
Yes, you can. There's a nuke in this game. You can
Pearl
drop a nuke.
Harbor.
No, I mean, well, maybe.
Yeah, close enough.
Yeah, no, you can. Once you like finish the game or whatever, you can just put a nuke on your plane, and that thing will just solve whatever problem you got.
Sure,
that's pretty rad.
You better be high up when you drop it though, and then you got to hit the afterburners real hard.
That is pretty neat.
Yeah, I think it's cool, Alex. That a lot of like the games of your childhood have been like represented here on this list. Weird because I've never heard of any of this shit.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I mean it's the flight sim genre. It's very niche, and this was like an to come to the defense of it, I guess this game's cool because it had very early 3D graphics that really worked well at the time. It had pretty good flight physics simulation. It had fun like customization in that you got to choose your weapons loadout to deal with whatever situation. It tracked your stats. It basically had like a campaign mode or similar to like a franchise mode where it's like you have a tour of duty of 7 missions and it'll just put 7 missions in a row and then track you over the course of that. And if you die during mission 3, then your tour of duty is over. So cool game, fun game. 67, better than Resident Evil.
Better than Super Metroid.
Better than Super,
I'm again, I'm glad that the games of your childhood are represented here. I am strapping in and waiting for Chrono Trigger to not be on the list.
Yeah, they are overrepresented. I will say that much. You don't need to have all 3 of those.
Also, apparently there's a 4th one, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, you should have grouped these into one.
There's a lot of niche PC games on here.
And put them in the 80s.
It makes this list very, very interesting, but yeah, you get the feeling it's overrepresentative. Speaking of weird PC games and text adventures, A Mind Forever Voyaging is number 66, a 1985 Infocom text adventure.
I put this on the list for the cover box art of this alone.
The cover box art is so good. That man is looking out and he's dreaming of American flags and stuff. It's great.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I can't say anything about this game. I know nothing about it.
It's an Infocom text adventure. So it's a text adventure, and Infocoms again were like the deepest fucking text adventures.
Yeah, they were well represented and well liked for a reason. 65 is Bump and Jump.
Okay.
No.
I like Bump and Jump.
This game sucks. Wait, come on. Like,
I don't think Bump and Jump deserves to be on the list, but I like Bump and Jump.
I get like overhead racers like what are we, Spy Hunter on the list? Like,
no, of course. Why would Spy Hunter be on this?
Why the Bump and Jump's on here? Spy Hunter's not on here?
There's going to be a lot of non-midway games on here. Let me put that. Let me just say that.
Oh my god!
Here's what I'm going to say: there shouldn't be any Data East.
I was going to say, anything made by Data East should not be on this list.
Put Karnov on the list next? Like, what are we doing?
What about the RoboCop game?
It shouldn't be on the list.
No.
Other than the music from the Game Boy version, it shouldn't be on the list.
But at the end of every mission, he says, "Thank you for your cooperation." It's great.
And you should make that your ringtone. I agree, but like,
I will do that. Thank you for the suggestion. Yeah, Bump and Jump's a weird inclusion.
Yeah, for sure. Especially this late in the list.
Yeah.
64 is the Zelda series.
Shut the fuck
and
up.
We're done.
Shut up.
Okay.
So by the time this came out, Link's Awakening had just been released for the Game Boy, and if I remember correctly, it's technically going to be the only Game Boy game on this list.
Sure.
Oh
So,
my god.
I mean,
Okay, so we're talking about Link to the Past.
yeah, we have Link to the Past on here. We have Link's Awakening. Of course, OG Legend of Zelda and Legend of
Yeah.
Zelda 2. This is another case of where, like, I think grouping together these as series is a real cop out because Zelda
Yeah.
2, whether you like it or hate it, is such a different game.
Yeah.
Sure. I love Zelda 2. I just like I don't-
Yeah,
what
right?
is what is
Yeah.
Okay, so I said a while back on my own podcast we did like on the 100th episode, which we're about to hit 200,
Mm.
and so like it's a long time ago, but we did a best games of all time list.
Mm.
And I forgot the way we did it was we aggregated votes from like our listeners,
Mm.
and they got to list like 20 games or something, and unequivocally the out and out winner was The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Was above and beyond the
Yeah.
most named best game of all time. And the fact that Link to the Past exists,
Right.
and you're putting Zelda at 64 is wild as hell.
Oh, and also, okay, I'm gonna so for Metroid, I was like, we're talking about Super Metroid.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna actually. I'm gonna take back doing the same thing to Zelda because all 4 of the games in here should be ranked higher.
Yes.
Agreed.
Maybe Zelda 2 should go somewhere around here.
Yeah, I mean, I like Zelda 2, but I understand, like, I like Zelda 2
Right.
more than Zelda 1.
Mm.
But I understand, like, that's a minority opinion.
Right.
But Link to the Past should be
Link
in
to
the
the
top
Past should be-
5 or 10.
Yeah,
Right?
top 10 easy. Link's Awakening should definitely be like top 30.
Yeah, agreed. I think I think if they actually did separate this out, I think that if they honestly did, one of those games would end up higher on this list, or at least I have to imagine they would.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
I think just grouping this by series is a cop out, and yeah, I hate it because it results in something like Zelda being 64 for some reason.
Woof.
Yeah,
It doesn't even make any sense. Like the strength of the series alone, like, should get it top 10.
absolutely, it absolutely
Like,
should. We're ta-
Zelda 1 and Link to the Past and Awakening are all like incredible games.
Yeah.
By 1996, we're talking about minimum 3 of the greatest games of all time in a series. Like,
Hmm.
Yeah.
yeah, it is wild that
And
it
yes,
is this low.
Ocarina is coming out like the next year,
Right.
but like even then, even before Ocarina, this is one of the best series of all time. That's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah,
That's
it is
that's
wild. This is not top
ridiculous.
50.
Yeah.
It does, yeah, it doesn't
Yeah, it's not
break
even top
50.
50.
Fuck this list.
Oh,
All right, so
yeah.
what's better than The Legend of
Yeah,
Zelda
what's the
3?
next game that is one game better than Zelda?
Robotron, which
Shut the
My
fuck up.
asshole.
which by the way, apparently not important enough to be called its actual name, which is Robotron 2084.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, Williams is probably,
Robotron's fun.
yeah,
Robotron is fun. Robotron is not nearly as fun as any of the 4 Zelda games.
No.
it is
No.
not. It is not. Like, yeah, I really like Robotron. It is historically important for its dual stick shooter and
Right.
Controls and whatnot.
Even like the other arcade games listed thus far, like Xevious, etc., I think I like Robotron better. I think
Yeah.
this is the right
Mhm.
order.
Robotron's
Yeah.
great.
It's not better than
No.
Link to the Past.
No.
No.
This feels like a real game that got in on Reputation. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, well, so there is also, how do I put this? Like, okay, ranking this is hard because so much of how good is the game is like context.
Mhm.
Like a game from 1985 just can't beat a game from 1995.
Sure,
Like face to face.
Yeah.
sure.
In sort of that same vein, I feel like putting arcade games on the same list as console and PC games is kind of stupid.
Yeah, because the idea of like how much time you're gonna be spending with them and the expectations is so much
Right.
different.
Yeah. It's like, no, of course the arcade game is like, yeah, like on the scale of arcade games, maybe Robotron is better than, well, no, that's for Zelda, no.
No,
But
yeah.
maybe it is better than, I don't know.
I don't think Robotron's better than Resident Evil.
No, this is not even
Yeah.
on this. Yeah.
Here's a quote from the write-up for Robotron. Someone once said, "You're about 2 seconds from dying at all times when playing Robotron, and that's what makes it so great." Yeah, the thinking man's game,
Yeah.
Robotron.
Yep.
The slow,
Gotta think
methodical
quickly.
pace.
Think quickly
Noted
with your
not
hands.
noted not Twitch game
Yes,
Robotron.
Robotron.
Uh, 62 is a Bard's Tale. I fucking hate Bard's Tale.
Yeah, I don't like that game
Yeah.
at
Oh my
all.
god. And the reason why I hate Bard's Tale is very arbitrary, because I've actually never played any of the Bard's Tales games, but
Mm,
early internet, like GameFAQs era,
mm,
when they announced that new Bard's Tale for the Xbox, there was a
mhm.
lot of incredibly annoying people on the GameFAQs forums who would talk about how the Bard's Tales was greatest, and if you didn't like them, you're idiots and children. And
Yeah,
would
that
just
sounds right.
Okay.
constantly talk about how, man, there's just so deep, man. It's so much better in Final Fantasy. And I just learned to internalize and just hate that so much. It is
I
irrational. I don't
mm,
think that's fair to Bard's Tale itself, but I will
Yeah.
never like a Bard's Tale game because of it.
I think classic Bard's Tale is probably fine, but there's no way it's like 15 points better than King's Quest.
No, it is
There's
not.
no way it's any points better than Legend of Zelda: A Link to the
No.
Past.
No.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh god, yeah, that Zelda's gonna be hard to delete.
That's that I can't. I'm
Mhm.
gonna be stuck on that for the entire rest of the list.
Mhm.
Yeah, probably, because I think the Zelda one is probably the most egregious, I would say.
Mm.
Not to say there aren't going to be more, trust me.
Sure.
Alright, yeah.
61 is Akari Warriors.
Shut the hell
Come
up.
on.
The Card Warrior sucks.
Agreed.
Akari Warriors is not the best top-down shooter. Yeah,
No.
even from SNK, much less in the entirety of top-down shooters.
Like Metal Slug exists at this point.
Yeah.
It did, yes, actually, yeah. It just barely came out, the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, a Guerrilla War was out, the one that was called Guevara, after Che Guevara. What's
Mm.
really fun about this, though, is that this is the only SNK game on the list.
What?
Yeah, so no Guerrilla War, no Baseball Stars,
Really?
no Fatal Fury, no Art of Fighting, no Samurai Showdown 1 or 2, all games that were out by this point, no King of Fighters or King of Fighters 95. None of those are
Huh.
on this list.
Huh.
And no
Akari
Metal Slug.
and no Metal Slug. Akari Warriors
Huh.
was the only SNK game on this list.
Huh.
Yeah,
Okay.
chew on that one for a little bit.
Sure.
Chew on that one for a
Okay.
little bit.
Okay, I was still going on my narrative of like these are like, very Californian gamers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking, what are you playing in an arcade in California in 1994, 5, 6? Like probably Samurai Showdown at
Yeah,
least.
I would think.
And
King of
Yeah.
Fighters, yeah, 50-50.
yeah.
The Sam Show one not showing up on here is insane to me, because other magazines at this time, other American trade magazines like EGM, EGM named Samurai Showdown their best game of 1993.
Yeah.
Like, it was
Yeah.
already a known entity and known to be a hell of a series.
Right.
Like I prefer King of Fighters to Samurai Showdown, but like Samurai Showdown's incredible.
It is. It is.
And yeah, that's
Yeah.
okay. Sure, Ikari Warriors.
Sure.
Like,
yeah,
but
Akari
like that's not
Warriors.
even pointing out the fact that Ikari Warriors stinks.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, even the arcade version, like the NES version, really stinks.
Yep.
The arcade version mostly just stinks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it amazes me that the most prolific period in SNK's history, which would probably be from like 91 to 96,
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
one game is Akari Warriors.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sure.
60 is Wizardry, the
Okay.
yeah, PC role-playing games.
It is influential.
Yeah.
They
They
influenced
made
Final Fantasy.
they made a ton of them by this
Yeah.
point. There's already 7.
Link to
Mhm.
the past.
Yeah, not sure about that one. 59 is Super Sprint.
Link to the past.
Yep.
Super Sprint's fine.
Yeah, Super
Yeah,
Sprint's a
yeah,
perfectly
sure.
fine game. 1986 came out in arcades by Atari.
I hate top-down racers so much.
Yeah.
Oh boy, you're gonna be very happy when we get to the
Racers
top
like
10.
this,
Then.
I'm like, this genre just shouldn't exist.
Yeah, they're not good.
There's like 2 that I've had fun with. Like I like Micro Machines a little bit.
Mhm.
Sure.
Because like it's got some cool design stuff going on. But other than that, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, top down racing just doesn't work.
Nope. No, it does not. 58 is Star Wars Arcade.
Yeah. Okay,
Specifically,
Cool game.
This is about right. This is
Yeah.
about where this game should be.
Yeah, specifically for it's the 1983 Star Wars arcade, which granted the other one had not come out by this point. That was a
Right.
98 game, I believe. But just to clarify,
Yeah.
yeah,
They're the same game though, just reskinned, basically.
Yeah.
they're very very similar. Yes.
Yeah.
A vector graphics game that looked incredibly cool and still actually
Yeah.
does look incredibly cool to this day,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Mhm.
So, yeah, one of those where like, is it 58? Not really sure, but I like that it's on this list.
Yeah, maybe
It's-
maybe a little lower, but
Yeah, it probably goes in the 70s or 80s.
Mhm.
It is not better than the 3 games we keep harping on.
Right.
No.
Oh, and what was the other
Resident
arcade
Evil Super
game? No,
Metroid.
the arcade game. Oh, Robotron?
Yeah,
No,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not better. It's not better than Robotron.
I agree with that too.
I
Yeah.
agree with that too, yeah. 57 is Sega Rally, which is a hell of a
Fuck yeah.
game. Yeah, love
Yeah,
Sega Rally.
yeah.
I have no problem with Sega
Um,
Rally being on this list.
Sega Rally has a cool soundtrack.
Mhm.
I agree that it's better than Ridge Racer.
Mm.
I would agree with that too.
It's not my favorite Sega Racer, but I don't think Daytona USA is out at this point. So,
I don't think
Daytona
so.
USA came out 2 years before this.
Oh,
did it?
Yes, it's a 93 game.
Well, then where's Daytona USA?
well, we're still going through the
Yeah,
I
we
list.
guess
still
there's
got a list.
Yeah,
56 is Dragon Warrior.
sure.
Yeah, I was actually surprised to see this on here because once again, this is a US based list, and Dragon
Right.
Warrior was not the biggest game at all for the longest time. So the
No.
fact that it's here is actually kind of makes me happy.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
Right, cup of
Yeah.
tea.
This feels about right for
But yeah,
96.
yeah, I have no problem with that. 55 is Ultima. Ultima is
Okay.
interesting, but I really think my opinion is that Ultima really didn't take off until Ultima Online. I think that's when it
Mhm.
really truly made its mark. Like they were influential games before that, certainly.
Right.
And the interesting fact about the screenshot I have up is from Ultima Underworld: Stygian Abyss, specifically because it's one of the first fully 3D interactive environments, and it did actually come out before Wolfenstein. That's
Hmm.
really neat. You actually could look it up and down. So like that's cool. I don't know if it's 55, but this is
No.
one of those really huge blind spots for me, certainly.
Yeah.
Ultima's important. I've never really had fun with any of them.
Yeah.
But it's important, I guess.
54 is Mech Warrior 2.
Yes.
Should be
Yes.
higher. It should be
Let's
higher.
go. It should be higher.
Mech Warrior-
Okay, I'll defer to y'all.
Yeah, Mech
This
Warrior
is
2's cool.
this is top 40 at least.
Yeah. Yeah, Mech Warrior 2 was kind of the biggest thing in PC gaming for a little bit. That wasn't like a first-person shooter. It was also a really good test if you had a good computer or not.
Mm-hmm.
So it was used as benchmarking for an awful lot.
It was such a huge benchmark that even Apple went and commissioned them for a special optimized version to run on Mac OS at the time.
Which is also another indication that MechWarrior 2 was a big deal because Apple was like, "Oh, we need to have this on Mac."
Mm-hmm.
A noted company that did not give a
Did
damn
not
about
care.
video games.
Nope, but they wanted that one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they did that for Doom,
No, they did not.
but they did it for MechWarrior.
They damn well did, and well deserved.
Mm-hmm.
53 is The Sentinel. A game I had not heard about before this point, but does
Me
seem
neither.
really cool. It is a Commodore 64 and other early PC game. Basically, it is a 3D environment where you basically clone yourself to move around. You literally put a clone on the like in front of you, and then your body disappears and you become that person. And the whole idea is you have to get through different stages while a giant sentinel's looking for you. And if it sees you, it basically starts draining your health. And you have to like rapidly run away or teleport away. It sounds very, very intense. I have nothing else to say about this. I have no idea if it deserves to be at this spot or not.
I have no idea what this is. Yeah.
But I wanted to describe it because it does sound cool.
Yeah.
52 is Spaceward Ho!
What?
Spaceward Ho is a 4X game, one of the very early 4X games. You basically go around colonizing different planets and stripping of resources and then moving on. It's neat.
Okay. Sure.
This is the section of like a lot of like really weird strategy games and offbeat games because we have 51 is Panzer General, which is a hex-based World War II simulator.
Okay.
That I had heard about at the time as being like, this is really in-depth. And then people just instantly stopped talking about it afterwards. So,
Huh.
there's that, I guess.
All right. Top 50. Here we go.
Top 50. Number
Okay.
50, Donkey Kong.
Whew. Sorry, I've just been like trying to hold in like any breath because I knew all I'm gonna say is Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past over and over again. This is not better than Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, but it belongs at the list.
It does
Yeah.
belong on the list. It's an arcade game that I still would play today, like happily.
Yeah, Donkey Kong is of the arcade games. Donkey Kong's the best one that's been listed so far,
I would agree.
It is an arcade game I would boot up at home to play.
for sure.
Yeah, another write-up where I take umbrage with their journalism. They say, quote, the game convinced Nintendo to take video games more seriously than playing cards. They had already been doing that for roughly about 20 years at this point, but
Right. Yep.
sure. But yeah, I think 50 is probably fine on this list.
Yeah.
49 is Command and Conquer, the real-time strategy game from Microsoft. Not Microsoft, Electronic Arts. First version and published by Electronic Arts.
Not my cup of tea, but I know
yeah,
like it.
Yeah, people like it. It's fun. Apparently, there was a very controversial ad campaign with this, according to Next Generation, where one print ad featured a photo of Adolf Hitler surveying tens of thousands of Nazi troops with the headline, "It's a great feeling," which
Wow.
need a copy editor for that one. The second one being Mussolini, Stalin, and Attila the Hun with the headline "Previous High Scores." Yeah, probably could have thought that one through a little bit better, but
yeah.
48. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say about Command and Conquer. Well, had Warcraft 1 come out at that point?
Warcraft 1 was Warcraft 2 is already out by this point.
Okay. So all right, fair enough.
48 is World Series Baseball, Sega's baseball game, specifically the Saturn version.
Huh.
I'm going to say this right now. This is the only baseball game on this list, and that is a travesty. That is this one. I don't think World Series Baseball is bad. I think there was actually a lot of really good baseball games for this this era. On top of this, you had, of course, King Griffey for the Super Nintendo, the first one. The second one, that was visually looked interesting, but didn't play quite as well. Then, of course, you have Baseball Stars, Super Baseball 1000, RBI Baseball. I would put RBI Baseball on this list far ahead of World Series Baseball. Not necessarily like put it like greater than 48, but I would put it ahead of World Series Baseball. I don't know if I would have World Series Baseball on here in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah, so not sure about that one.
We're putting this one on here, not like Baseball Stars.
No like... Baseball Stars, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, right. 47 is Worldwide Soccer 2, another Sega arcade game, or a Sega sports game, I should say. I've never played any of the Worldwide Soccer games. It probably was fine, for all I know.
Yeah, this doesn't look especially good, but sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's a early Saturn game.
Yeah.
Like, it's no victory goal.
No.
We're talking about.
Yeah.
46 is Formula 1 Grand Prix 2, a PC game published by Microprose in 1996. It looks very nice for the era, I'll say.
So Microprose, I feel like, was a more simulation-focused company. So graphics probably nice. Driving physics probably fairly realistic and complex for the time. And for that, like for like racing fans, like real racing fans that want to have that realistic Grand Prix experience, I'm sure it was fine. I'm sure it was good. I can imagine they liked it. Above Sega Rally?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure about that one. Once again, another game where I'm like, oh, it looks very nice. I wonder if it got points for that.
Yeah,
I'm not sure about that one. This game, though, definitely deserves to be at 45. Outrun!
Yeah.
Sega Superscaler game. Absolutely
the
great
soundtrack alone.
Yep. Yeah, I love the hell out of this game. Love it.
Better than Donkey Kong.
Yes,
but here's my problem. Okay, they put Formula 1 ahead of Sega Rally and then this ahead of Formula 1.
I think I would put Outrun over Sega Rally.
Really?
I think I would.
All right.
Yeah. They're both great games.
Right. All right.
44 is Spectre VR.
No.
Oh.
I don't know anything about this game.
It's not like, from what I remember, it's like,
Yeah, I played this game a lot as a kid, and no, I would not put it on a top 100 list. It was really cool at
Yeah.
the time. It was like, it felt like something you'd see in Tron, is the way I'll describe it.
There's a lot of flat shaded polygons going on here, and I can appreciate that as a Star
Yeah.
Fox fan.
Yeah, but like from its gameplay was not especially good.
Yeah, fair enough. 43 is Rolling Thunder, a Namco arcade game released in 1987 that is interesting and fast paced, but I'm not really sure why it's at 43.
it's a cool
Yeah.
game. I like Rolling Thunder.
Yeah.
Not better than Donkey Kong.
Nope.
No.
Like if we're just looking at the arcade games, it's probably up in the upper echelon of the ones we've talked about, but that's not the best one.
Yeah, I should point out there's a lot of Namco games on here. I think there's like 7 or 8 in total. It's
I bet Mappy ain't here.
Mappy's not here. Our boy Mappy
Fuck
is
this
not
list.
here. Yeah, this list is invalid with no Mappy.
Yeah. That's not a joke to me. I agree.
Oh, here's our final flight sim game, by the way. EF 2000.
I never played this one. I think I saw it on the shelf.
Yeah, the EF stands for Eurofighter, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's another game that looks very, very nice.
Yeah, nice graphics. I'm sure they're talking about the flight models. Yeah, I'm sure they're good.
Yeah,
it's better than Legend of Zelda: The Ocarina of Time or Link to the Past. It's got to be good.
Yeah, there's no F-16s in that game. Actually, I don't know if there's an F-16 in this one, but still. 41 is Snake Game.
Unbelievable.
Snake Game is a very influential and important game. Is it something that I would... Well, a lot of people who had Nokia phones after this point, like 1998, 1999, were playing an awful lot of Snake.
No, yeah, like Snake. So I don't think Snake is even important at this point.
Yeah.
Like Snake doesn't become important until phones.
Yeah. Yeah, it's something that existed forever and has been copied multiple times. But yeah, it really did become super important until then.
Yeah, it is very important and beloved as something that does not exist on this list, which is a mobile game.
Yeah.
Snake is a very good mobile game.
Yeah, so
it's not bad.
Yeah, but
I mean, I've even played good versions. Like, shout out to all the people out there who have played Time Splitters 2, and then you access the Secret Anaconda bonus mini game, and that's the best version of Snake in the known universe.
Pretty good version of Snake.
But like, great soundtrack to that version. But like, I don't know that Snake even belongs on this list.
Yeah, no, not at this point. Come back in a couple of years, oddly enough.
And even then I wouldn't. But I mean, like,
right, like again, by the metrics of any platform this list is talking about, no.
Yeah. This is another write-up that I take umbrage with from a journalistic perspective. It says, "What's the big deal? The origins of this game are lost in time." No, they aren't. Now, granted, the internet is not the same as it is now as it was back then, but the origins for this game is that the first Snake-like game was made in 1976 by Gremlin Industries. It was called Blockade. It was cloned a whole bunch of times until somebody cloned it for the BBC Micro, called it Snake in 1982, and introduced the mechanic where if you eat apples, the snake gets longer. So there you go.
Well, but to be fair, it sounds like knowing that took research, so...
Yeah. That is correct. Number 40 is NHL Power Play. What the hell is this?
I don't. Yeah.
The reason why I'm upset about this is because NHL Power Play, first off, is a bad game, and two, they say it took basically the torch from EA's NHL series, which NHL 93 and 94 are
still played today.
Yeah, you pick one or the other, and you go, "This is the definitive hockey game." Neither of those games are on this list.
All right.
Yep.
Sure. Like, is Blades of Steel on the list?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. No, it is not.
Like, even Nintendo Black Box Hockey is better than this.
Yep, I would agree. I would agree, and I hate ice hockey.
Yeah. Cool.
39 is asteroids.
Sure, I
Sure.
guess.
Yeah.
Mm,
The asteroids
I
is
mean,
game.
for an arcade game, sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a game I never really liked to play, but I
Right.
understand
Yeah.
that a lot of people did. So
Wait,
cool.
like, is there a goal?
The goal is to
Uh,
destroy all the asteroids, and then they
And then just
respawn,
more
and they
asteroids
destroy
show up.
more.
yeah, no, it's an endless game.
Yeah.
High score.
38 is Zork.
Shut the fuck up.
Another Infocom text adventure game, probably their best one, or best series, I should say, because it's the
Uh.
Zork series specifically. It's definitely the one when people talk about Infocom text games, they go Zork was cool, which
Yeah.
I will believe them and will never play it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. You know what? Sure, fine.
Yeah,
So we've seen a few adventure games, a lot of text adventures.
mhm.
Where the fuck is LucasArts?
Great question. Great
All
question.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Will be coming up or will not be? I don't know
Oh
because
my
there's a lot
god,
of weird omisions on
I'm
this list.
shaking.
37 is Super Mario Kart.
What? I didn't think this was even gonna make the list.
I kind of didn't either. A lot of top 100 games lists from around this time or a little later would actually place Mario Kart roughly about the 30s. It's like the
I mean,
consensus
yeah.
spot for Super Mario Kart, it seems. Yeah,
Sure.
perfectly fine. I mean,
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think it probably earns a spot more because of what happens later in the future with how
Oh, for
influential
sure.
this game is, but it is a fun game to play.
Right. I was gonna say, is Mario Kart 64 out?
It is not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll still be another year or two after this.
And I mean, like you make this list in 2022. Mario Kart OG doesn't make the list,
Probably
No.
not, no.
but Mario
No.
Kart 8 maybe makes top 20.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Like, you know.
Absolutely.
Either 8 or Double Dash.
For sure.
Yeah.
36 is Rescue Raiders, aka
What?
Armor Alley, a game released in 1984 for the Mac and Apple II. This time around, they actually specified the Mac and Apple II instead of just saying PCs. It's apparently very ambitious. It's a helicopter shooter sort of game in some sections, and there's like other on foot games, like on foot sections. So it seems like it's a very ambitious game for its time.
Okay.
Another game I've never played and probably never will, so I don't have much more else to comment on.
Okay.
35 is Duke Nukem 3D.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This feels like it came out in 1996 and they just got done playing it and went, this is cool. This is better than
Is
Doom.
Doom on the list?
I'll spoil it. Doom is on the list.
Okay. Then this is fine.
Yeah. It's one of those things that Duke Nukem 3D was a very, very popular game at this time, and it is fun to play. I actually would still probably play Duke Nukem 3D to this day.
Sure.
But yeah, it's one of those things like I want to quibble with 35, but I do find it a little difficult.
Memorable moments. Giving dollars to strippers. Cheap? Sure. Sexist? Probably. But a lot of fun. Cool. Thanks, Next Generation.
Literally every memorable moment they list is terrible.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Once again, this is the mature magazine for adults.
Yeah, let me hold on to the writers of Flux.
They snuck in.
Like a special guest spot here.
You know what's funny? Flex's writer for Duke Nukem 3D does not mention any of that.
Huh.
They switched places. They accidentally mixed up the copy. It's great. 34 is Nobunaga's Ambition.
I have to leave.
They also spelled
I'm
Nobunaga's
quitting
name
the
wrong.
podcast. Nobunaga is spelled incorrectly.
Nobunaga. Oh yeah, Nobunaga.
I despise this game.
It's a bad game, in my opinion.
And like this game is so terrible. It's so slow. It's like it's barely a video game.
Yeah, it's for those of you who don't know, Nobunaga's Ambition is a strategy game, like kind of like a grand strategy game from Koei.
Right.
Who was probably more well known at this period. Well, they were known for putting out these games, but probably more well known for the Romance of Three Kingdoms series, which was similar
also terrible
in scope. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they released way too many of these for like the Super Nintendo, a system that most people did not have the mouse accessory for. So it played awfully. It played incredibly slowly. This is not a good game. This is not a game I would recommend.
No.
33 is SimCity 2000.
Alright.
Weirdly enough, they said released from 1989 to 1995, so I think they meant the SimCity
SimCity,
series.
yeah.
Yeah.
Also, because memorable moments, they have SimCity classic codes in there for some reason.
Interesting that they don't list Super Nintendo.
Yeah, because that was
I mean,
definitely well
SimCity
regarded.
2000 on the Super Nintendo sucks, but SimCity OG is great on the SNES. But like SimCity 2000, excellent game.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think it totally deserves to be at 33.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree with this one.
Yeah, no controversy here.
Yep.
32, Wipeout XL.
Cool choice.
I was happy to see this on this list. I'm not sure about 32, but
No.
I was happy to see
It
this.
feels a little high, but yeah, Wipeout's
I
cool.
like this game. Like if I'm reordering just the games in this list, like it probably makes it in the 60s or something.
Agreed.
But
Yeah.
like it's Wipeout's awesome soundtrack.
Awesome soundtrack. Visually holds up, I would say, just because it does the F-Zero incredibly angular cars sort of thing. And it moves very quickly. Like, it was only 30 FPS, if I remember correctly, the original, but it still has a really good sense of speed despite that.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, really cool game. Really cool game. 31 is Herzog's Way, a weird real-time strategy multiplayer game for the Genesis that always makes these lists very high. I have tried playing it multiple times, and I've always bounced so horrifically hard off of them. People seem to like them though. It's oftentimes considered a predecessor to games such as Command and Conquer.
All right.
So cool, I guess.
I mean, yeah, it doesn't look like Command and Conquer in the screenshot, and I don't know why would I want to play like Command and Conquer on the Genesis.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's mostly because you controlled a little jet fighter that would, and like you would like build troops and they would follow you around, and it had a cool multiplayer mode. Is really the big thing about this.
Sure,
but yeah, it's mainly the reasons that it's a real time strategy game on the Genesis. That it's like this is not how I want to play this.
Yeah, I feel like Herzog's Way was like hidden in another game. Like I think you could have played like on the Saturn. Like God, what's that? Panzer Dragoon, and like put in a code and like unlocked Herzog's Way, which that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Number 30 is the Madden Football series. Interestingly enough, they're only going with the Genesis games because they have Genesis as the only platform and released in 1991. So definitely not getting those terrible Apple II games in there.
Okay.
And I mean, the Genesis ones are the superior of the two.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, fine. Yeah.
I have played my fair share of Madden, and I have enjoyed. I'm mostly early Madden. Mostly PlayStation Madden, honestly, but like PS1, but still, like I don't know, absolutely belongs on a list like this for sure.
Oh yeah, certainly. Yeah, you didn't see that. 29 is Syndicate.
Okay,
Syndicate was.
I've never played Syndicate, so I don't have strong opinions.
Right.
Yeah, one of Bullfrog's many legendary games for the PC.
They mentioned the Genesis version does not seem like a game I'd want to play on a console either.
No, definitely. This is straight up a PC game.
Yeah. It does a good job on the Genesis, but the PC version is definitive. Yeah. Absolutely. It absolutely is. 28 is NFL Game Day, which no.
Above Madden?
Yeah, above Madden. They say that it has stolen EA's Madden Series Thunder, which they would be correct 2 years from now when NFL Game Day 98 came out. It was the first on modern consoles 3D football game.
Right.
This one, I'm not sure about that. It was a very breakable game, and it played very Madden-like in a sense as well. So like I'm not really sure why they rated this over this, other than I don't know. It's the cool new hotness. Yeah, because Madden did not come out for the PlayStation initially. They tried to with Madden 96, and it was such a mess that they just canceled it. So that might also be another reason why they was like, oh, the Game Day's the only PlayStation Madden-like football game. So yeah, I don't agree with this, but it's also kind of whatever.
Sure.
27, Sam Max Hidden Road.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Here's our LucasArts game.
Yeah, I like this game a lot.
It is cool.
It is not my favorite of, like, they mentioned Monkey Island 2 in this write-up.
Mhm.
And I'm more of a Monkey Island guy, but like
Same.
Sam Max at the Road is a great time.
Mhm. Yeah, it is an absolutely great game and a good game to put on here to represent LucasArts.
Yeah.
He says knowingly.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, there is
Yeah.
no Monkey Island games on this list.
No Monkey Island, no
There were fierce
game.
arguments as to whether this one was better than The Secret of Monkey Island 2 or The Day of the Tentacle. Well, this is not the series.
Yeah.
Like, you put 14 Infocom games on here. What are you doing?
Yeah.
All the Infocom games are the exact same, bud.
Yeah, right? Yeah, no, the idea that they put all those Infocom text adventures and then are like, well, we can't put Secret of Monkey Island 2 on here.
Yeah, come on. Day of the Tentacle? Ridiculous.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely
You
not.
gotta pick one. Pick one.
You get one, not the other. All right, next up is going to be XCOM UFO Defense.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
XCOM 1, a good game.
A lot of people like it. I don't. I did not really gel with the series until the more modern takes on it. Which I love XCOM and XCOM 2.
Yeah, those are cool games.
Yeah, UFO Defense. I tried it, and
Mhm.
I mean, maybe I was just too far gone. Because I played it after playing the modern ones, and like it's
Right.
not for me.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think in 1994, this might have blown my mind. So
People at the time were crazy about XCOM.
right.
Yeah. For those who had PCs and played XCOM, of course. But yeah, it was fan favorite. Fan favorite. 25 is Knights.
Ooh,
Yeah, that hot
really?
Sega Saturn banger. Knights.
Oh god.
Okay, so
Oh,
I can't.
man.
hot take.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I do like Knights.
It's an
I
interesting
think
game.
I like it. I don't think it belongs on the top 100 at all.
No. No, it is not. No, it is not.
I bet I could think of 100 better games than Knights.
Yeah. I think Knights is visually very incredible. I think it controls awfully.
Yeah, even with a 3D controller, it's not
Yeah.
great.
Mm-hmm.
It has cool music, cool presentation.
Mhm.
But like it's not necessarily
If its gameplay was as good as its aesthetics, it would be like top 20.
Absolutely.
100%. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, but like, do you all agree with Next Generation when they say that they're also impressed with the significance of the storyline, which is the first time I've ever heard that sentence come out of anyone's mouth
What
about
storyline?
Knights? Right?
Huh?
Storyline.
What
Children
storyline?
have bad dreams.
The end.
Maybe they're thinking of Christmas Nights.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, there's a lot of like really weird nuance that like the weird A-Life stuff that goes on in Knights. There's a lot of Knights is a collection of interesting ideas.
Yes.
And I can appreciate it for what it is, but
Like
boy, 25.
like a lot of Yuji Naka produced games.
Yeah. Honestly, this should be the first indication. Is like, okay, Yuji, you're full of ideas, and not a good way to implement them, huh?
Yep. Starting the trend.
Oh, hey, speaking of another Infocom text venture game,
my
we have
God.
Lurking Corner
Come
24.
on.
You don't even have a screenshot for it because
Because it's just
text
text.
adventure.
It's just
Yeah.
text. It literally is.
Like I can't even in good faith say that's wrong because I don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
I mean, this little write up is a screenshot essentially. This is what
It
I
is.
like. I like that they say the game is one of only two in the horror genre that has ever seemed genuinely scary. Resident Evil is the other. Oh yeah, you remember Resident Evil? Yeah, remember how 70 games back?
All the way back in the 90s? Yeah. Yeah, I totally
Yeah.
remember that. That was scary. Anyways, Lurking Horror.
Wow.
Also, I like, what's the big deal? See the Zork entry for our Creed on Text Adventures, because for this, we'll be concentrating solely on Lurking Horror storylines. Like, that might clue you in that maybe this... I'm not really sure if you need to include this as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. 23's X-Wing and
Yes.
TIE Fighter.
All right, yeah, cool.
Yeah, these games are great.
Yep,
TIE
no
Fighter
arguments.
even more so, which, yeah, of course.
No arguments.
Yeah, no arguments with this. 23 is perfectly fine.
It might make my time, like, for me personally, it would probably be like a lot earlier in the 100.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like, because I wasn't a PC gamer growing up, but like,
Yeah.
The few times I got to play this as a kid, like, were super cool.
Yeah,
So,
it
like,
is.
yeah, it's a great game.
Yeah, like same. Like because I'm a console gamer, I'm more of a Rogue Squadron guy, but I could
Right.
appreciate what this is and what it did much earlier than Rogue Squadron did.
Yeah.
22 is Tekken 2.
This should break
Yeah.
top 20, I feel like.
Yeah, I agreed.
Yeah, I would agree. Even though I've never been a Tekken 2 fan and series never
Yeah.
clicked until Tekken 3, I also do
Okay.
recognize how important and how many people love this game.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see the argument being for Tekken.
I'm with you on literally every single part of that. Tekken 3 is where it finally got kind of enjoyable to me.
Right.
But like I didn't hate Tekken 2.
Yeah.
And like it's yeah, this is where it belongs.
Yeah, totally.
Oh.
Yeah, Tekken series did not get good until Heihachi became an old man.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Valid.
Got it. Daytona USA at number 21.
All right. All right.
And I was wrong. It was released in 94. But yes, I love the game.
This is where it belongs.
I love Daytona so much,
Daytona
man.
USA rules.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Yeah. They specifically said in the opening write-up that they did not include the Saturn version on here because it's a bit of a glitchy mess, which is true. But the arcade version is
good
perfect.
though.
Yeah. If you have no other way to play Daytona, that's not a bad way to play Daytona.
But arcade Daytona is better for sure, obviously.
Saturn version of Daytona also has a cheat where you can play as a horse who can drift. Yes, which is pretty great.
Rad.
20 is the Sonic series.
Okay. I need the whole series, huh?
Yep, Sonic 1 through 3 and Knuckles. And I guess technically CD and Knuckles Chaotix at this point.
Okay.
Yeah,
Better than Zelda. Like 35 points better than Zelda.
Oh,
Okay.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Does Link have any tude? He doesn't even speak. Sonic says, "I'm out of here if you wait too long in the Sonic CD version."
Like, okay. Sonic 2, great game. For me, Sonic 3 probably peak as a series at this time.
Great.
Yeah, Sonic 3 and Knuckles to me still like other than Sonic Mania,
Mania,
Sonic
right?
Knuckles
Which is
still like the peak. I don't like this.
20?
Definitely belongs in this like hemisphere
right
of the list. Probably like top 25 for sure.
Right.
So far above something
far
like
above
A Link to the Past.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Before I go on my Sonic rant,
sure.
No, please, by all means.
Yeah, I'll just go on my Sonic rant real quick. So,
please.
I love Sonic 3 and Knuckles. I'm a big Sonic fan. I love Sonic Adventure. I love Sonic Adventure 2. I grew up as a Nintendo kid, but I could appreciate Sonic. I think most of the Sonic Genesis and Sega CD games are absolute goddamn horrible trash that are go completely against its stated ethos of go fast and actively punish the player if their level design. I think
I agree.
Up until Sonic 3, when they figured out maybe we should have certain sections where you just go fast, and then we have platformer sections right after that, and clearly signpost it. Every other one of those games was like, you have the first stage to go fast, and then the second stage, if you go fast, we will just kill you. And then it's like, well, what's the point then? What the hell are you doing? What are you doing? What do you mean I have like block puzzles in Marble Garden Zone? Why is there a pit that you can just fall down and then as Supersonic and then you're just going to hang out there forever in Sonic the Hedgehog 2? Why would you do this? Who plays these games and goes, oh man, that's really good. That's real smart level design. That's real awesome. Can't believe we did that. Like, it is insane about that. Like, why would you design a game like that? Why would you design a game where it's like, we want you to go fast? Oh, you're going fast? No, we don't want you to go that fast.
So are we here to say Sonic 1 sucks? Because Sonic
1 sucks.
Sonic 1 sucks, yes.
Yeah.
Sonic 2 has redeeming... Go ahead.
Green Hill Zone rules, Sonic 1 sucks.
Yes. Yeah. Sonic 2 has redeeming qualities. Sonic 3 and Knuckles, they get it right. Sonic CD has never clicked with me at all.
Yep.
Don't understand the crazies who like that game.
Sonic CD is as bad, if not worse, than Sonic 1.
I wouldn't go that far.
At least Sonic 1, I can tell what's going on half the time. Sonic CD is just a mess.
Absolutely, absolutely. Also, I just want to say about this write-up, they say, quote, sure, the central character's cuteness is an added bonus. Sonic's cute.
Oh yeah, what a hot character.
I kind of, I
Listen, there's only one person I've ever heard call Sonic cute. Her name is Amy Rose, and that's it.
Who do you think wrote this?
Ah, yes, makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, before we move on really quickly, Alex, do you still need to leave pretty strictly by 5:30?
No, I'm good.
Okay, cool. I'll still try to pick it up a little bit.
Okay.
People on the YouTubes are going to hear that because I ain't going to cut any of this out. I'm too lazy to cut this out. Podcast, they will.
Yeah, you get a little bit of the inside information.
Exactly, inside baseball. It's great.
Yeah.
19 is Doom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm perfectly fine with Doom being at 19.
I'm perfectly fine with it being ahead of Sonic.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's the better fast game.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
100%.
This is the game that does not punish you for going fast, oddly enough.
Yeah. No, it's like do faster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't do it faster, you will die. Okay, you know what? I want to ask y'all. Is Doom better than Legend of Zelda?
No.
I don't know. Okay, here's my problem. I've never gotten into isometric games. Like across the board. If we're talking Zelda, Fallout, Diablo, whatever. If it's got an isometric camera, I am just eventually going to bounce off of it. So I would probably play Doom more than I would play Zelda. Does that mean I think it's better? No, I think Zelda's better.
Okay, yeah, I agree. I agree Zelda's better as well.
But I would likely have more fun in the long run with Doom.
Yeah.
Sure.
I will say this. I think if you just take like the best game out of the Doom series, which I guess is either Doom or Doom 2, they're basically the same in many ways. And you take the best game out of the Legend of Zelda series at this point, which is Link to the Past. Like, I think Link to the Past is better, but like if somebody was like, no, I think Doom is better, I'd be like, no, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. 18 is Micro Machines.
Shut the hell up.
Huh.
Yeah, right?
Better than Doom.
Better than Doom.
Better than Zelda, better than Doom, better than Resident Evil.
Sonic series.
Better than the entire Sonic series. Sure, man, sure.
Yeah, top-down racing game.
Micro so this Machines. Game is enjoyable, mostly because again, it's got the neat aesthetics of like, you know, you're a tiny little vehicle, and like all the racing levels are like, you know, like in the screenshot here, you're in a bathtub.
Yeah.
Right. It's adorable. It's kind of fun in that way. It gets real out of hand real fast.
Yes, it does.
And the camera cannot keep up with you, and it just kind of stinks. It doesn't belong here.
Yeah, it does not. It does not. Yeah, Micro Machines was well regarded back in the day, but the idea that it's number 18 is wild.
Yeah.
Number 17 is the Final Fantasy series in total.
Whew.
Oh boy,
that's hard for me to swallow personally.
Yeah, no. Yeah. I would obviously put this higher. I am waiting to be blown away by number 16.
Yeah, same. And of course, context for here is that this is a US-centric list. It's only Final Fantasy 2, which is Final Fantasy 4, and Final Fantasy 3, which is Final Fantasy 6. So
then this is egregious.
Yeah, 4 and 6 are enough.
Those are the two, like, people call those the best games of the franchise today.
Yeah.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Yeah, it's coming without the baggage of like Final Fantasy 2
I was like,
3J.
okay, well, if we think about 2 and 3, like, okay, those aren't great, and 5 got kind of a mixture. No, it's specifically 4 and 6. Okay, then you're insane.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is top 10 easy.
Yeah.
No,
man,
thank you.
Something's gonna make me real mad here.
Yep. All right. What's better?
Populous.
Something just made me real mad.
Number 16 is Populous, the hot Peter Molyneux helmed game.
Populous is so boring.
I've never liked Populous.
It's so boring. It's incomprehensible. It is
playing the Genesis version of Populous as a kid and accidentally renting it and just not understanding what was going on is my defining memory of this series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It's I mean
Sounds about right.
it's important because it's a Bullfrog game, and Bullfrog was like kings of the PC around this time. But
Right.
boy,
Okay, but here's my question: is this series better than SimCity,
no, no,
which was like 30 or
Yeah.
20 ago?
yeah, no, I would play SimCity at any point over this. Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is.
Oof.
15 is Marble Madness, which I think is very high. I don't. I think Marble Madness deserves to be in a top 100 list.
Yeah,
15?
but not 15.
Yeah,
no.
Marble Madness is fun. Marble Madness has a really great soundtrack.
Oh yes.
Yeah, it does.
And like Marble Madness is like I feel like it's more known for the NES version these days. But like
Yes.
arcade Marble Madness is so fun.
Oh, it's so
Like
great.
that's a trackball game right
It,
there.
it is way better than it should be.
For
Is
sure.
absolutely what I would say about Marble Madness. That
Absolutely.
game, it should not be as good a game as it is.
It's not 15 good.
No.
It is not. No.
It's
it
not
is
better than Final Fantasy.
No.
It's better than Populous though.
It is better
Fuck
than Populous.
Populous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'll agree with that. I
Yeah.
will totally agree with that. This is another write-up that I take umbrage with, mostly because it just almost seems insulting. Under what's the big deal? It says designed and programmed by a 17-year-old, and he's put in quotes, Mark Cerny. They completely butcher Mark Cerny's name. Mark Cerny's name is spelled M-A-R-K, C-E-R-N-Y. And he is not French Canadian.
Okay, yeah, please continue.
And he says, who went on to produce the decidedly less innovative Crash Bandicoot for Universal. Weird Crash Bandicoot shade.
Okay, I don't even like Crash Bandicoot 1 that much, but that's an insane statement.
It is. Crash Bandicoot was a technological marvel for the PlayStation.
It was wildly innovative.
Yeah, it was like, hey, how can we do like the Mario sort of platforming format in 3D with a track? And it's like, yeah, it turns out you can.
Yep.
Yeah, and you can make it look really good by doing really cool perspective tricks and whatnot. Like it is genius. I love the concept of the first Crash Bandicoot. It didn't get good until Crash Bandicoot 2, but I love the concept of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, that game where you roll marbles around the track, that was where he was really shining.
Right.
Yeah, that's where he was really shining. That guy who's couldn't be bothered to research how to spell his name, so we're just gonna put a random smattering of letters on there.
Congratulations, number 15.
Yeah, congratulations. 14 is Elite. 1982 game released for the PC Micro. People love Elite.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Franchise which is still going today, which is not something I would have expected.
To be fair, it had to be brought back via Kickstarter, but the version that did get brought back is incredibly well beloved. Like,
well, it's going through some times, but in general, it's been doing well.
Oh, okay. I have not been keeping up with it recently.
They added some FPS section gameplay, and by section I mean like a whole other game. They sort of stapled onto it, and it's a whole thing.
Did they wait? Oh my god! Did they just like look at what was that disaster from the same dude who did Wing Commander?
Oh, freaking Star Citizen.
Star Citizen. Yeah, did they Star Citizen it?
Yeah, they were kind of like, oh, that's not going to come out. We can do that instead, and they did come out.
I mean, good on them.
Did come out.
Ah, boy. Oof. Yeah. All right. Well, do y'all think Elite should be at 14?
No.
Probably not. I'm unclear on its historical context.
Or is it better than Final Fantasy?
I honestly don't know. It's like, okay. As someone who loves flight sims and space sims, you have to understand that not a lot of things scratch that itch.
Yeah,
sure.
But no, it's not better than the opera scene.
No, it is not.
No.
This was a game that was very popular for the time. It was really big in the 80s, and Yeah, this was like one of the games where it's like, yeah, if you have a C64, you probably should pick up Elite. Like,
Right.
it's something that like it managed to escape the black hole that is like
Right.
the Commodore 64 to actually have wider mainstream knowledge. So I think it definitely deserves to be on this list. 14, not sure about that.
I feel like top 20 is arguable.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. 13 is Defender.
Shut the hell up. Shut up. No.
Not
Shut the
even
fuck
better than
up.
most of the arcade games on the list so far.
It's not, and it's sure as hell not better than Elite. I'll tell you that right now.
Rolling Thunder's better than Defender.
All these lists, all these top 100 games lists have such a hard on for Defender, and I've never understood it. I've never understood it. Like, you look at the Eugene Jarvis interview and they talk about how Defender is just the greatest thing in the world, and it's like, you didn't actually play Defender, did you? You didn't actually. No, you're lying to me. You're lying to me. I understand why it's important. It's Williams' first big arcade hit.
Right.
It's the first side-scrolling game. I get why it's important. But
This
have
game
you
is
played
like-
it for longer than 3 seconds?
Right.
This game's like 80 points above Space Invaders.
Yeah. Yeah, it
You're
is.
insane. You're out of your mind. And to put it right in front of Elite, an actual spaceship sim, you're insane.
Yeah, I can't do this, man. This one's bad.
Yeah, this is egregious.
Ugh, God, Defender sucks. Take that to my grave. This game doesn't suck though. Number 12, Miss Pac-Man.
Miss Pac-Man good. Miss Pac-Man good.
Pac-Man is a great video game. It is not top 20 material.
Where would you place it?
Top 50.
Top 50? Okay. Yeah, no, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
This one really confuses me with its placement because it's not here on historical significance. Because if that was the case, it'd be Pac-Man.
Right.
Also, I don't know why they didn't just do Pac-Man series.
Right. I mean, Ms. Pac-Man is in all ways superior to the original.
It is 100%. There's zero argument with that one. And yeah, it was incredibly popular at the time, and it's still fun to play nowadays. But yeah,
For sure.
At 12 is if you're not going to grade with a significant amount for historical significance, I don't see how it gets 12. And once again, if you do that, why not Pac-Man? Which is what most lists usually do.
Right.
Yeah. They'll usually have Miss Pac-Man much further up the list, and then Pac-Man. So yeah, interesting choice. Also, rest in peace, Miss Pac-Man, who has been put into the closet by Namco because they do not want to pay those jerks at Games any money.
Yep.
I get it.
Fair.
Even though they could put Miss Pac-Man in anything else, they just can't re-release the original Miss Pac-Man. But they're just like, nah, we're not even going to put her in anything. That's how petty we are now. 11 is Virtua Racing, which I know.
No.
Virtua Racing is not a bad video game.
No, it's cool, actually.
It is, like they mention, like, yup, we rate Virtua Racing higher than either Sega Rally or Daytona USA, and here's why it drives better. You're wrong.
Yeah. Also, I feel like if you have to already qualify your statement by being like, yeah, no, we agree, this is a controversial statement, you maybe want to re-examine that.
Yeah.
Like,
Sega Rally and Daytona USA are both better. Outrun's a better Sega Racing game.
I agree.
Yeah. This is not a bad video game by any means, but it's like doesn't belong.
I also don't know if it's better than Wipeout.
Agreed.
No, it's not. There's a really, really cool version of Virtua Racing that came out for the Switch, where you can literally play 16 players on one screen.
Oh,
that sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. That didn't exist at this time. So
yeah, no.
If that version was out, okay, we can have an argument because that's a really cool version of that game, and it's very clean looking. But no, not here.
No.
I will hear an argument for top 100 in the context of all the other games on this list. If we included things that were omitted, I'm not sure if it even makes top 100.
Yeah.
So we're now getting into our top 10, everybody.
All right, let's do it.
Oh man, bracing myself.
Yeah. Once we start getting into this top 10, it's going to actually get a little less controversial, I would say. But there's going to still be some interesting things here. Number 10 is Warcraft 2.
Okay.
Yeah. I like Warcraft 2 a lot. I'm not sure about top 10, but it is a cool game and it is important for Blizzard.
I don't like Warcraft 1 through 3 at all.
Hmm.
Or I guess I don't like any Warcraft, huh? Now that I think about it.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of all of them.
Yeah, it's kind of,
Yeah. So like, yeah, they've never clicked for me. I'm not really a real-time strategy guy though, so
Right.
yeah.
it's just not for me.
But I mean, in the context of strategy games at this
Yeah.
time,
Is
like,
StarCraft out at this point?
no,
No,
not yet.
StarCraft is 98.
Okay, then
Yeah.
yeah, this is the one that goes on the list.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was. I mean, it was notable for just being incredibly nice looking and having a very clear visual identity. So it's, even though it could get a little chaotic at points, it was very
Yeah.
easy to know what was going on. Really good soundtrack, a really good
Mhm.
campaign. Uh, it's it's a very cool game because of that, and the expansion, which obviously was not out by this point, makes it even better. But yeah, like it's it's a neat game. It's hard for me to put it at 10 myself. I
Yeah.
I think this probably makes top 30 certainly, but
Mhm.
top 10 is an interesting choice, but yeah, it's a cool game. It's a cool game. Number 9 is Quake.
Okay.
Sure.
Quake
I like
is
the Quake 2 is where it clicks.
yeah.
Yeah.
Quake is fine. Um,
I don't know if Quake 1's better than Doom.
Agreed wholeheartedly. Yeah, that's
I
where I
Yeah.
was gonna go.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I even think if you include historical significance, which Quake has an awful lot, like
Mhm.
the code for Quake is still in basically every first-person shooter engine in one way or
Right.
another.
Right.
Right.
Like there's obvious and like importance just based upon that alone and like what it did for first-person multiplayer and whatnot.
Right.
But even then, like Doom is it's fucking Doom. Like that's a
Yeah. And yeah, again, like you said, like the Quake introduced like 3D environments to it,
Mhm,
like proper 3D environments and scalability. But
mhm.
I don't think they really nailed it from a gameplay perspective until Quake
Right.
2.
Yeah,
Agreed.
agreed. Number 8, Lemmings.
I love Lemmings. It doesn't belong on a
It
list.
doesn't.
I like Lemmings as well. 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
maybe, maybe. Like
yeah.
it doesn't. It's there's nothing super special about it.
It's like it's a good like use of your time, but
Yeah,
like I always feel pretty empty after playing. It's like
Yeah.
very
yeah,
empty calories.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Lemmings, I think, is on here because Lemmings was literally everywhere. And
yeah.
Sure.
like it didn't matter how weak or how much of a weird pine box your PC was, it could
Mhm.
play Lemmings. It could play it decently well. So it just everyone touched it at one point or another. And like there's so many versions out there that are actually decent. Like even like the Super Nintendo version is shockingly
Mm,
decent.
yeah,
Like it's actually really amazing like how portable this game was. So I understand why it's here. But boy, 8?
yeah. No, no, not 8.
Yeah.
Not 8.
Ooh, man.
Not over Zelda.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
definitely not over Zelda. Yeah, I do not agree with that. Number 7 is Street Fighter 2.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep. No, can't argue.
yeah.
No
Yep.
argument.
It's
Street
pretty much the perfect placement.
Yeah, Street
Mhm.
Fighter 2 deserves top 10. You could argue top 5.
Yep.
So let's split the difference and put it at 7.
Yep.
Sounds great.
Yep. No arguments. That is until I saw the next game.
Virtua Fighter 2 fucking rules.
I mean, it does.
Virtua
But
Fighter 2 is okay. All right. I'm a stand for Virtua Fighter here. All right, because
Mhm.
I
mhm.
love Virtua Fighter and all of its incarnations. Um, it is a better game than Street Fighter.
Ooh.
It is, however, not nearly as accessible.
No, it is not.
Yeah,
And
no.
like, I don't understand how this game got here. Like, it would go. I mean, Virtua Fighter 2 would make my list, but like 3 or 4 or 5 would.
Right.
And like, but two, like at this time was incredible.
Oh yeah,
incredible,
it's
way
great.
better than Tekken. But maybe it wouldn't go above Street Fighter 2 on this type of list.
I don't
I don't think so.
I don't think it would
Okay,
either. Yeah.
I'll also be honest. I don't even like Street Fighter 2.
Okay,
It
wow.
feels extremely janky to me, and I have
Okay,
a lot of trouble like feeling it out.
okay.
It'd be
But
just in my barricaded tower of Street Fighter 2 ready to defend it, I guess.
but I also don't think that I've never touched Virtua Fighter 2. I've barely touched Virtua Fighter at all,
Sure.
despite kind of having always wanted to. I don't think I would necessarily get along better with VF2. Yeah, I don't see how you can claim VF2 is
Yeah.
a better game than Street Fighter 2. Like it's just there is so much to Street Fighter 2's goodness
Mhm.
Yeah.
beyond like how you feel about playing it. That is just like no. Street Fighter 2 is like the more influential, the more accessible, the more like
Music's better.
innovative, music's better. Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going to say it's about Virtua Fighter 2. As somebody who thinks it's not as good as Street Fighter 2,
Mm.
gameplay wise, it is a near perfect game.
Mm.
I do honestly believe that. I think it is AM2 at their finest. It is not an accessible game, but
Right.
boy,
Yeah.
when you get going in that game, you get going in that game.
For sure. High level Virtual Fighter play is so cool to
It is
watch.
Yeah.
insane, yeah, and it's a series where like it just sort of continued with that. Like I mean, we
Yeah.
don't talk about Virtua Fighter 3 in this house, but like Virtua Fighter 4 and Virtua Fighter 5, my God, those games are wonderful. I mean, we're not talking about that here, but still,
Right.
like it
Virtua Fighter's never been concerned about accessibility.
has never been concerned about accessibility.
Right.
And this is where maybe I'm gonna start getting controversial. It's never really cared about good characters.
Yeah.
like I like me a Sarah Bryan. I like my
Shun
like me.
Shun is real. Shun is
Okay,
here.
okay, yeah, Shun's cool too. Yes, I'll
Yeah.
agree with that. But like it is definitely a game where it's like, listen, we're here to just make a really good ass fighting game,
Mhm.
and everything else will follow. Whereas for me, Street Fighter 2 is like, we want to make a more complete game. Everything from the visuals, the music to the gameplay all comes together for Street Fighter 2 in a way that is almost unparalleled with fighting games around this time.
Street
Like,
Fighter 2 has a way better presentation.
it does.
Yeah.
It does. Like, I think the only fighting game from around Street Fighter 2's time specifically, to even get anywhere close would maybe be Fatal Fury. Maybe. When it makes
Right.
sense because that's the same people made Street Fighter 1, made Fatal Fury. So of course.
Yep.
Right.
So that's the reason why Street Fighter 2 ultimately is that, and the accessibility part is why I would place it higher. Like,
Sure.
and really how I would place is I would place Street Fighter 2 at 6 and Virtua Fighter 2 at 7.
If we're just reordering the games on this list, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. In a real list, I think Virtua Fighter 2 is lower. It's
Probably, yeah.
probably top 20 maybe for me, but not top 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, and this is again me saying that I think I have more fun playing Virtua Fighter 2.
Mhm.
But like, you know, this is the wrong order.
Yeah.
Yeah. It also, to go back to dunking on this list, it smacks very much of coming from an attitude of 3D fighting games are the future.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the 2D era is over.
1000%.
Mm-hmm. Which, yeah, that was definitely the
I mean,
thought
look at
of,
the Sega Rally and then Sega
Mhm.
Virtual Racing thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, and this is also like odd things about this writer too. Like they say, like success playing Virtual Fighter 2 depends entirely on the player's skill, reaction time, experience, non-secret combinations, codes, or rote memory moves, which feels almost like a jab towards Street Fighter.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So there's a lot of weird things about this, but
Yeah.
yeah, Virtua Fighter 2 is a cool game. I will say that. I don't think it needs to be above Street
I
Fighter
don't know
2.
number 6.
Yeah.
I don't know about 6.
All right, our top 5. Mario series.
Just the whole series, huh?
The whole series, but not the
Memorable
entire
moment.
series.
Flying.
Wait, yeah, up to 91.
Not to 91. So they just go through Mario World. So they don't consider Yoshi's Island, Super Mario World 2, to be part of
Okay.
the series, for
Okay.
instance.
All right.
Which I would agree with, but then again, they also put Zelda 2 a part of the series, Zelda games.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
There's cherry picking.
there's definitely cherry picking.
I have no idea what 4 through 1 could be.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
fucking stumped.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is another moment of them taking the coward's way out and being like, well, we don't want to rank, like, we don't want to throw Mario 3 and Super Mario World on there and have them knife fight it out.
But even if so then if you make this, if it's Mario series, this is number 1. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. And what's funny about that is that they could have just said Super Mario All Stars and they just put it at 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, well, you know what? No, I'm gonna hold my predictions.
No,
But
I literally can't think of any other game that's
I can think of one of the games that's going to be above this.
like Mortal Kombat. Is Mortal Kombat above Mario?
maybe.
Fuck off, man. I need to see these top 4. Let's go.
Are we
Yeah.
doing
I need
this?
to get mad. My blood's boiling.
I was going to ask if you want to give me predictions, but do we just want to jump in?
Okay. Well, so Tetris is somewhere above this.
Okay.
Yeah,
Tetris.
okay, that makes sense. Tetris should be there. Maybe not above Mario, but should be.
But we already got Pac-Man and Donkey
Yeah.
Kong and Space Invaders, so I don't know, man.
It's gonna be some weird game I never heard of, isn't it?
Let's find out.
Let's find out.
Number 4, Civilization series.
Well,
This one was tough for me.
yeah.
Tough in the sense because I love Civilization 2. Only 2 Civilization games came out during this time period.
Okay.
Civ 1
This
and
is
Civ 2.
1 and 2.
Yes.
Is what we're talking about?
Yeah, the screenshot is
Okay.
Civ 2, which matches up with the screenshot that they had in the magazine.
Because like my Civilization is 4 and 5.
Agreed. That's mine too.
Yeah, and so like so I've tried Civilization 1, 2, and 3, and none of them I thought were very fun. But you know what? Going with the sort of of this list.
It makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It makes
No,
sense.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm willing to defend this one, not necessarily over Mario, but I am willing to defend this in top 5.
I could see it. Yeah.
And the reason being is because I am a bad mark for the Civ series.
Mhm.
I enjoyed the Super Nintendo Civilization.
Ooh,
Dang.
that game's terrible.
It's not a good version of that game.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it.
Like if again we're making the modern list,
Mhm.
like I think Civ 5 at least makes my top 10.
Yeah.
I have probably like 700 hours in that
Yeah.
game.
I'm more of a Civ 4 guy, but Civ 5 is great too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Civ 6 didn't click with me, but
Yeah, I haven't played that one. I played a lot of Free Civ, which is based upon Civ 2.
sure.
Which is why I'm like, oh yeah, Civ 2, I could totally see this on here. So yeah, I'm willing to defend this because boy, as somebody who's technically, I guess, never played original Civ 2, but has played Free Civ, which is the freeware remake of it. That's a good game.
Yeah,
So,
and for like its complexity for the time,
oh yeah,
Right.
just the amount of game that it is.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Better than Mario?
Better than Mario? No.
No,
But top 5? Sure.
I would call it on a level with Mario, to be honest, because
Yeah.
you've got to look at like what the genre is trying to do. Mario's whole thing is level design and movement control. Civilization's whole thing is systems design and game progression. And in those areas, they both excel to what I would argue to be, probably comparable.
Yeah.
Would I still put Mario above? Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
I buy that.
All right, number 3. Are you ready for number 3?
Oh my god. Huh.
Okay. Interesting.
Wow.
Interesting.
Super Bomberman 2 for the Super Nintendo. Not even the best Super Bomberman game for the
It's
system.
not.
Why didn't they just do Bomberman?
Not in a
Why did they
million
do Bomberman
years.
series, right? Yeah.
Not in a million years would I have picked Bomberman.
Oh
I
yes.
like Super Bomberman a lot.
Oh,
I like
yeah.
Super Bomberman 2 a lot. And of course the Super Famicom ones are even better.
Mhm.
But like Huh. Is Saturn Bomberman out by this time? Because that's the
It,
best multiplayer Bomberman.
it is not. Saturn Bomberman, I believe, is a 97 game.
Okay.
Yeah. Super Bomberman 2, at this point, if I remember correctly, is the only Bomberman game where you can play more than 4 players. It's 5 players.
Yeah.
So, and it does probably have the best single player of any non 3D Bomberman game.
Well, they
if I
say it
remember.
sucks, so I don't know.
Oh, they do? Oh, well, they're fucking
Yeah.
wrong. Much like a lot of things in this list, they are wrong. I'm not gonna say it's great, but it's for a Bomberman game, it is surprisingly decent.
This is not a top 10 game for me.
Ooh.
And
Yeah,
I've played
no.
I've played a lot of Bomberman in my day. It's a great game, cool presentation, really like earwormy music.
Mhm.
But like above
For
like I
this day, what is a better like party multiplayer game?
I mean
That is not Bomberman related, or
Yeah,
ooh,
I
ooh.
mean at this point I'm not playing games for that, I guess.
right,
That's not the like that doesn't really come for me until the 64 era.
right,
Yeah,
So like and I mean I don't have a Super Nintendo multi-tap at this point in my life, you know? That's like not a
right.
thing that's easy to get. And so I played Bomberman 2 players a lot. But I think there's better 2-player experiences.
Yeah,
If you're
yeah.
talking about like the 5-player experience, I can't speak on that because
yeah.
like
No, I'm talking about like 4-player, just a party game,
at
basically. 'Cause
this point
that's
in
Ooh.
is this point in the world, not much.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
I
like
could name 5-player games, but yeah.
that's why I understand this game on the list because there's nothing else in that space that serves that purpose. Like
Sure.
it's
That is
Bomberman dominates.
that is actually a really good point, because previous to this, the most, like on the NES, the most players you could play in
Mm,
Bomberman was 3 players. And yeah, like you're right. Like we're used to there being just way too many Bomberman games.
right.
Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, back then it's like, Super Bomberman came with that multi-tap,
Hmm.
and it was like, oh, whoa, is there anything else to use this? And the answer was absolutely not. But
Yeah.
that's okay.
No.
You have the one game you need.
Yep.
Yeah. I yeah, so I totally get
Number
you.
yeah, number 3, I don't think
Is
so,
that's a wild pick for number 3.
Mhm.
but it is sitting in a very unique niche
Sure.
Definitely
for
for
its time.
and for consoles, definitely.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, yeah. Because at this point, the only other 4 to 5-player games that are on consoles are the TurboGrafx 16 game Dungeon Explorer, which is a cool Gauntlet game,
Mm,
and I believe the Gauntlet game for the Genesis Gauntlet 4 is also,
okay.
and that's about it.
Yeah, so you're for like yeah, for 4 or 5 players, you're looking at Gauntlet or Bomberman.
Yep, pretty much.
Isn't there like a
Those are
cool
your
3DO Bomberman or something? Am I thinking of a different console?
I mean, I'm certain there was a 3DO Bomberman.
Yeah, I feel like it was pretty good if I remember correctly, but I don't know.
If
I don't know. I mean, hey, next generation, you do you at this point.
yeah,
You've lost the fucking plot.
you've gone crazy. There is indeed a 3DO Bomberman game.
Okay.
Couldn't tell you anything else about it, but all right. Number 2, Tetris.
There it is.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
No.
What the fuck is number 1?
Right? What is number 1? Yeah, Tetris was often either number 1 or top 5 on various
Mm,
Understandable. Tetris rules.
Yeah, yeah,
Tetris is awesome.
yeah.
I can't even say anything. Like
I mean, it's no Hatris, but
I mean, what is?
exactly.
But like,
yeah, it's great. It's a great game.
man,
Okay,
what?
wait. I need to offer a prediction. Like
Yeah.
Hit me.
it's got
What do you think? What do you think? What do you think?
Oh man.
mud.
What?
Like multi-user dungeons?
Yeah.
Like just muds in general?
I'm trying to think what was the most popular mud.
That would be hilarious if it was.
Adventure.
Yeah.
Adventure on Atari 2600. That's my pick.
That's your pick? Okay.
Yeah.
So we have one of the various muds and adventure. Super Mario 64 is the number 1 game of all
Shut
time.
the fuck up. You goddamn idiot. No.
You said Mario series already, you putzes.
No. This is different. This is
It's
different.
not.
This difference.
Yeah, of course it's different. So was Super Mario Bros. And World.
Yeah. They set you up for being like, no, we're only gonna group these games together in a series, and they're like, Super Mario 64 is the best game of all time, because we literally just reviewed it and we had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
I love Super Mario 64. It's a great
1996.
game.
Yeah, everyone
video
fucking
game.
loved Mario 64.
But what the fuck are you doing, Next Generation? You just barely reviewed this game.
How is this not part of the Mario series?
Oh, by the way, this write-up is insane to me. So, the game arrived at Next Generation's offices on June 23rd, the same day of Nintendo 64's launch in Japan, and we started playing. 36 hours later, no, we didn't sleep. We completed it with 75 rings.
All right, we're gonna
75 rings.
I don't.
Were you awake when you played this game?
Well,
Like-
36 hours. No, probably not.
Probably not.
Okay, maybe this is a misprint and it's Superman 64.
Oh God.
Maybe. Maybe they got the hot new scoop about Sonic R and they actually meant to place it number one.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so in 1996, yes, this could be number one.
Yeah.
Yes.
However, if we're going by the rules of this list, which have been broken time and again, this should be Mario series.
Yes, it should be.
Yeah.
Yes, it should
bonkers that it's not. And like even if like I'm designing Next Generation magazine, like why am I not like doing this should be a full page spread.
Yeah.
With me talking about all the Mario games and then ending like, hey, do you want to see our Mario 64 review? It's the best one ever. Like,
yeah,
sure.
that would be a perfect segue into it. Yeah.
But no, instead you put Mario at like 10. And you put all the other ones at 10. And again, like to speak on what Alex was saying earlier, like this reeks of like 3D games.
Yeah.
Or way better than 2D games.
It totally does. It totally does. Yeah.
So weird. What a weird ass list.
What a weird
Weird ass list.
Right? Yeah. God, I have such umbrage with this as being number one, and not because I think Mario 64 is bad, but it's like you literally just reviewed this, you idiots.
Well, and that's actually something that's really interesting to me about this list is, boy, what a bookend.
Sure.
Like, what a cutoff point for this list to come out right before 97 and 98, which we've been talking about this entire time of, was this out yet? Was that out yet? Was that out yet? And almost everything we mentioned were in the next 2 years.
Yeah.
Right.
Like the 2 years of video games that come out right after this list, holy crap.
They are some of the wildest years. Yeah.
Like Ocarina of Time, Final Fantasy VII, Metal Gear Solid, like Resident Evil 2 comes out in 98. Like
StarCraft.
Yep, StarCraft. Yep.
Like so much stuff.
Yeah, like I really wanted to find a list from like 98 and 99 for that exact reason. But the fact that I found this listed instead and found like this weird time capsule of like, man, look at all these cool 3D games. Man, 3D is going to be kind of crazy, right? And it's like, oh, bro, you haven't seen anything yet, man.
Right.
Like Quake 2 wasn't out by now, right?
Right.
Yeah, I don't believe it was. Yeah.
So we're going to get Quake 2 and then Half-Life immediately after.
Yup.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Right?
No, this is a wild.
And then GoldenEye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, Pilot Wing 64 is not even on this list, which is wild.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
It's a 10 out of 10 game.
Yeah, you put Falcon Gold on this list. You didn't put Pilot Wings 64?
I mean,
what the hell is wrong with you?
You didn't even put SNES Pilot Wings.
No, they did not. Yeah, I mean, we might as well just jump into like weird omissions into this list. So there's a grand total of 2 Capcom games on here.
Yeah, there's no Mega Mans.
Yeah, no Mega Man. There's no Mega Man X
games.
Yeah. Yeah, there's yeah, like one of the most prolific Japanese developers in their heyday, and they're like,
Right.
nah, we're not gonna put any on there. We're not gonna put like a lot of their arcade hits on there. Like, you could, I could totally see them being like, no, we're gonna put Section Z on here, a game that I don't really think that's great, but or like
Yeah.
Commando or something like that. They don't even
Right.
do that.
Like it's the game series did not click for me until like the last 5 years with the modern ones, but like there's really no reason there's not a Mortal Kombat game on this list.
Yeah, there's no Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, it's normal. There's no Contra or Gunstar
There's no
Heroes.
wow, yeah,
There's
for
no
sure.
Konami games.
There's no Konami games.
There's no Frogger.
No Castlevania at all. Yeah.
No
Yeah.
Gradius.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They think fucking what, Xevious is better than Gradius?
Absolutely
Really?
not.
It absolutely
Really?
is not. No. No.
In no world.
No world. Yeah. No.
No. Mm-mm.
Yeah, the fact
Man.
that there's like no Contra on there would hurt me. It hurt me so bad.
I was prepared for no Chrono Trigger, so I had steeled myself for that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane.
Yeah, I mean the square representation is literally just the Final Fantasy series, which I guess, I mean, if that's one you're gonna pick, that's one you're gonna pick. But like,
Right.
Sure.
you know, what about Secret of Mana? Like, it's
Like Phantasy Star and Dragon Quest are on there.
Mhm.
Okay.
I forget which one of the games they did, but they wrote up, it's like, so there's a strange thing called the Japanese RPG. And it's like, not that strange, buddy.
It's not that strange.
Not by the time this year came out. Like,
I mean, once 7 hits, it's off to the fucking races.
yeah,
Right.
7's when it stops being a niche thing. Yeah, but
right. Man, what a weird ass. I don't even know if it's bad as much as it is nonsense.
Okay, I also gotta look up something. When
yeah, that's half the reason why I wanted to do this. Like, initially when I found this, I was like, well, I want to find a different list that might be a little bit crazier. But then I always kept gravitating back to this list because there's just so many weird things in it all throughout it.
Okay, I was gonna say you put like 4 Gravix flight sims on there, but not Ace Combat. But Ace Combat 2 wouldn't come out until 97.
Yeah.
Which was when the series got good. So,
I mean,
okay.
like,
fine.
they put all these flight simulators on here. Where's Microsoft Flight Simulator?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's the one, right?
That would be probably the one.
Where's Oregon Trail?
Where is Oregon Trail? Yeah, I was expecting Oregon Trail super hard.
Right?
When they started going through like their text adventures and early PC games, I'm like, Oregon Trail's going to be on here. No. All right. No. Just no.
Yeah, it seems like they like adventure games, but they just like the weird ones. The odd
Yeah, it's wild. I'm not surprised they didn't fall for the trap of putting in like Donkey Kong Country on here. Like, I wouldn't have argued a Donkey Kong Country because I like those games, but
2 at least.
But like, it was a little surprising not to see anything on that, or like it was a little surprising not to see like something like Warhawk on there, like one of those early 3D PlayStation titles.
Yeah.
I mean, clearing omission of a lot of like Genesis and Super Nintendo classics and NES classics, but I mean, like, it really just seems like they're coming from, we played the arcade and PC, and then we've just gotten to 3D console games.
Right.
Yeah, like
you kind of see their thoroughfare here.
Yeah, and that makes sense why there's so many like Sega games on here, because the arcades and whatnot. Whereas like NES, the Super Nintendo representation aren't there. Like, so of course there's no Kirby or no Mega Man. I mean, of course there's no Mega Man because like Twitch gaming, except all the Twitch games that they like on there.
Mario 64, the thinking man's game.
They put Track and Field on there and not Kirby Superstar?
Yep. Yeah, they did.
What the actual hell?
It's real messed up, man. This is a
like
real
on
messed
top
up list.
of just like certain games that are amazing that should be up higher on the list. There are legitimately bad video games on this list.
Yes. Yes.
There really is. There really, really is. Yeah, this is, man. All right, like I don't even know how to keep going or even to end this. Just like, because like,
I mean, that is a list that happened.
That is a list that happened. And Next Generation would put out another list a few years later that, if I remember correctly, was far less controversial than this one. I don't know if this actually generated any
Right.
controversy back in the day, but in my eyes, it's less controversial.
Okay. Well, and again, like the following 2 years probably gave them a lot to work with.
It did. I'm certain it did.
Because I was also looking up, first Baldur's Gate came out in '98. Like they were all about, ooh, Ultima's so great. It's like, where are the real CRPG or CRPG games?
Right.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it turns out we had to wait a year or two more.
Yep.
Yeah, so I don't think there's anything else to really say about this other than just how are y'all feeling, gentlemen?
Bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I need to go, I don't know, brush my teeth.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
Jesus, like, I don't know. It makes me want to go back and like, I feel like I had a much higher opinion of Next Generation than I should have.
Yeah. That's probably true of almost all video game magazines.
Sure,
in the 90s.
As somebody who's read a couple of old EGMs recently, yeah, boy,
Yeah.
let me tell you. Yeah, it turns out that a lot of them are bad.
Sure.
Yeah, it's and that's the reason why I love the lists like these. Like EGM's 1997 list is just about as insane, and it gets really sad when you get to the 2000s when they learn their lesson in a way, and like they stop. It isn't nearly as controversial, and you're like,
Right.
man. I want this to be stupid. Now this is just kind of okay. Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah.
Well, that's the point where I think you need to transition into what game scored almost perfect scores. Like, hey, what was the highest rated game of this year? Oh, BioShock 1, huh?
Yeah, I guess we should put it on our list. We should put it number 2.
Yeah. All right, but yeah. How'd that go? How'd that age?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure Ken Levine thinks it aged very well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sure Ken Levine thinks a lot of things.
I'm not in the business of caring about what Ken Levine thinks.
I don't think Ken Levine is either, but I don't know what business Ken Levine is in it these days.
Right.
Trying and failing to be a screenwriter, if I remember correctly.
Oh, neat.
Yes.
I hope the best for him.
Hey, me too. But yeah, I think in that case, maybe we should go ahead and call this. Matt, Alex, do you have any final thoughts?
Yeah, I think we should like go back in time and start a video game magazine and just like, make the good one finally.
Yeah, I'm totally down with that.
It was a niche that apparently hadn't been met.
As long as I get my my monthly column where I talk about how Secret of Evermore is great.
That's not a bad game.
Yeah, it's perfectly fine. I'd say it'd be number 102 on this list.
I'm gonna put Tonic Trouble in top 25.
Okay, we need to end the show. It's important that we go as soon as possible. I got places to be.
Indeed. Thank you all for joining me, gentlemen. I do appreciate this. This was a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
And for the viewers at home, if you enjoy episodes like this, you should go to ftp.podbean.com and look up more episodes of Fallin Thru Plotholes. Subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts or whatever podcast service you use. We do really appreciate that. Helps us be discovered by other people who might enjoy nonsense like this. With that, we're going to sign off. Take care, everybody.